You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Anyone ever tell you look like Sidney Porch Chair? That's Portier. You stupid ass.
Welcome back to another episode of Moviesucktastic, episode 6.
Thanks for catching me there. I froze. I couldn't think of doing
It's
that.
quite all right.
I don't start well, but once you get me going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're back. Episode 6 of Moviesucktastic. Chugging right along. Things are taking form. Adding more and more technology to the system.
Yep.
You can search for us on iTunes, like I said, podcast.com or podcastalley.com.
That's
We're
right.
on Twitter at Moviesucktastic. And we are on
Facebook.
our fan page for Moviesucktastic. Yep. Yeah, so we're just trying, we just started the whole thing. So the Twitter, we have very few followers on Twitter right now. I think the number's 5 at the moment, since you finally followed us.
I apologize.
No, it's not good enough.
I'm more of a Facebook guy than a Twitter guy. I am. And I think a lot of people are as well.
Yeah, and we're on Facebook as well. We're up to 20 or so. I just started
20,
up a little while
plus
ago.
right now.
Yeah. So you can catch our videos that we post on our website. You can also catch them on Facebook. You can catch them on YouTube. And I haven't done a MySpace yet, but there's a lot of places to catch us online.
MySpace is dead. Well, anyway.
But that's the plugging for the sites. So if this is your first time listening to us, check it out because we got lots of stuff. And we're trying to do more written movie reviews and more video interviews and stuff like that. We'll be covering Avatar.
Next month, we just briefly mentioned...
I thought it was coming out in November.
December 18th.
Oh, my fault. I thought it was November.
No, December 18th. Basically what happened was we went to go see Saw 6, and the sound cut out on us, so we got free passes. So we'll be using that to see Avatar for you.
Right.
We're not going to spend any money on that.
So we're going to cover that. We're actually going to try to interview people outside, a little sign, how bad was this movie, and get people to talk about it.
I think we'll be successful because we have to go back to the theater that the sound cut out on us, and that's at the Paramus Garden State Plaza Mall. I think it's going to be teaming with teenagers and sci-fi geeks of all ages.
And next Thursday night, I will be appearing at the Washington Theater, the historic Washington Theater in Washington, New Jersey, for the midnight screening of New Moon, the second film in the Twilight series. I'll be there to screen the film, do an on-spot review, and hopefully get some interviews with people about how the film is. That's going to be pretty... I heard their midnight showing of that last year was just wall-to-wall.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm hoping to be there for that.
And the Washington Theater, that's Warren County, right?
That's Warren County, I'm talking with Marco. He's the owner-operator of the theater. Very nice guy. And I'm slowly kind of drawing him in to try to become the official movie theater of Moviesucktastic. Try to do some events there in the near future, hopefully. He's very excited about us. I'm sending him a bunch of info, so hoping to plug him because it's a great, nice, old theater.
Oh, it's great.
It's like, it's over 100 years old or near 100 years?
It's pushing 100, if not over.
And there's a whole historical rejuvenation program he's trying to get going with it, and we're just trying to get people that notice the theater and get there because it's a beautiful place. It's looking even more beautiful when he's done fixing it. I
was impressed with it when we went there for the midnight showing of Saw 5 last year.
Yeah, and I just went there the other night to see the midnight showing of A Christmas Carol.
We saw Saw 4 there.
Saw 4 there,
yeah.
right? Because that was when you got the speeding ticket.
Yeah, we won't go into that again.
Yeah, but I went there to see Christmas Carol and midnight showing, and it wasn't as big a turnout for that for midnight showing. That was my group and one other group. There was a total of 6 people there. Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned A Christmas Carol, I think we should start off this podcast with the top 10 from Halloween weekend.
Take it away.
All right. The number 1 movie for October 30th through November 1st, surprisingly enough, the number 1 horror film Halloween movie was Michael Jackson's This Is It.
I almost went to see that.
No, you didn't.
You're right. I'm not kidding.
Okay, good. That came in at number 1 with $23 million.
Was that the opening weekend for that?
Opening weekend.
Well, that's not big for an opening weekend.
Well,
it's number 1, but it's not that big for an opening weekend.
Actually,
That's not opening weekend. It opened the same weekend.
It opened up Wednesday.
Yeah, that's the
28th.
Yeah, that's the second.
No. It's still the same week.
Oh, that's right. It opened Wednesday.
That's its first Friday through Sunday
did you
tally.
have a total for like the 6-day weekend?
Yeah, it's $34.4 million.
It's still good for a 5-day. They should have waited till Thanksgiving.
Think of how much did this movie cost?
They should have waited till Thanksgiving. I don't know what they were thinking.
This movie cost next to nothing to make because all the footage was already there. They just had to slap it together, put in studio footage, archive footage, interview some people. Quincy Jones, I'm sure, was interviewed throughout the whole thing. He always is. Who? You know Quincy Jones.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
What else?
The number 2 film was Paranormal Activity. No surprise there.
No.
I mean, it's Halloween weekend.
That tidal wave of a film.
Yeah. And $16.3 million. And it did it on 2,400 theaters.
What's their total up to now?
$84 million.
That's not shabby.
$15,000 budget.
What else you got?
Law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
We just saw that recently.
We just saw it.
We're going to tackle that puppy.
Yep. $7.4 million, and that's in its third week. And you know what? It's made $51 million already.
It's not shabby.
No, it cost $50. It's made $51. It's definitely in profit margin right now, considering what it's going to do with the foreign market as well, plus DVDs, cable, all that good stuff. Couples Retreat, the number 4 movie, at it's still making money. For Christ's sake,
it's Vince Vaughn.
$6.4 million. It's up to $87 million.
Yeah.
It cost $70 million though. That's a lot of money.
How much did they pay for Vince Vaughn? I mean,
hopefully not a lot. I mean,
is Jennifer Aniston in that?
No.
Oh, she's not.
No.
Oh no, it's Sarah Michelle Jessica.
Forgetting
Parker
Sarah Marshall, the girl from there, is in it.
Isn't Sarah Jessica Parker in it? I thought she was in it.
No, you're thinking of what's her face, the other one.
Michelle
from
Gellar?
No.
They all blend together.
Right.
I can't tell. The British guy's in it, isn't he?
Russell Brand?
Yeah.
No.
I have no idea what's in this film.
You really don't.
All I know is Vince Vaughn and the guy that directed Iron Man, Favreau.
John Favreau's in it.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn is in it.
I'd see it for Favreau.
Actually, Silk Spectre 2 from Watchmen.
Oh, really?
She's in it. I can't remember her name.
Yeah.
Don't really care. All right. The number 5 movie is Where the Wild Things Are with $5.9 million, with $62 million total so far.
Very, very lackluster. That
cost $100 million.
And that's the last time I'm going to use lackluster. I apologize for that.
Cost $100 million, and it's only at 62.
20, 30 years trying to make that film, and it just dive bombs.
Oh, yeah. Now they have the technology to do it, and we mentioned in the last podcast that it should have never come out for Halloween. It should have come out for Thanksgiving.
Right. And
I actually have the list of movies coming out in November, and looking at that list, which we will talk about a little bit later, it would have been. I guarantee it would have been successful. Seriously.
And on our blog, I forgot to mention the blog. Yeah, we have the blog too at boothreviews.blogspot.com, which is our official blog of Moviesucktastic,
right?
Which you can link to from Moviesucktastic.com. It's easy to remember. I touched on that in my little review where I said the reason that film didn't do so well is that the magic is gone. The magic is dead, people.
CGI, I mean, it's the norm now. No one's impressed anymore.
There's no magic.
That's why they spent $175 million to make A Christmas Carol.
That's why everybody is Google-eyed over Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, because it might not be a completely original idea because it's a haunting type film. But
there are no original ideas anymore.
No, you're right,
except for my screenplays.
But the fact of the matter is, it costs no money. It is creepy. And
because of the simple direction, pacing, editing, plotting,
and we'll get into that too, because I did see it.
But there is no magic left. What's next?
Right, Saw 6, the number 6 movie,
which would have been doing much better at Paranormal Activity had not been the huge success it was.
Or they actually opened Halloween weekend,
which they should have opened Halloween weekend.
Right,
bad move, bad Saw people.
And the thing is, I took a look at Saw's release dates over the years, and they have released Halloween weekend.
Mm-hmm.
They really have, So it's not uncommon that they had to stick to the week before Halloween. My whole thing with Saw 6 and Paranormal Activity is just judging by the numbers. It's in its second week, and it made $5.2 million.
It's gone. It's it.
It's faded out.
Thank God they already got greenlit for 7 and 8.
Well, the problem with that is, and I'm sure 7 and 8 will get done because these movies only cost.
But the budget will be a bit lower.
The budget's only $11 million already.
I thought it was more than that.
No,
I thought they had.
no. The budget's only $11 million already.
They don't need more than that. They'll be fine.
No. They've been incrementing a little bit. Like the first one was $1 million. No. I'm not saying that they're not going to make 7 and 8.
What's the problem then?
The problem is, I have a feeling that people might be done with the franchise a little bit.
No, honestly,
I don't.
Wait till the DVD sales come out and we'll see what it looks like then. If the
DVD
DVD sales aren't there, then it has happened. But honestly, I think you're reading too much into the weekend scores. Paranormal Activity hurt everybody. Paranormal Activity hurt Where the Wild Things Are, not as much. It definitely hurt Saw big time.
What I think is going to happen...
Sold out theaters, dude, for Paranormal.
No, I know.
What sells out anymore?
But
I can't tell you, the last time I sat in a sold-out theater was probably Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And when I was in Paranormal Activity, and it was just a sea of cell phone teenagers using it was just amazing. I was surprised, and it was the second weekend.
Right. No, and that's the reason why I think the Saw franchise might be waning a bit, is because of the fact that nobody releases a movie against Saw at Halloween. They just don't. It's suicide for your film. But what did Paramount have to lose? It cost them $11,000.
Exactly.
They gave it to Spielberg. He did the Hollywood ending, for them, for the extra scare. And it cost $15,000 at that point. Big deal. So they really had nothing to lose. So they released it against Saw 6, and it did extremely well. Now, I think if somebody has if they feel they have a good enough horror film, they're going to release it against Saw now. Good, because I guarantee they won't. Because 9/10 of all horror films come out are crap. True. So, but release Orphan against Saw. Come on, bring it on. Well, it was released in the summer. It never intended to do it anyway. I know where you're going. Yeah, okay. But I get the feeling that companies aren't going to be afraid to release their film against Saw anymore. And I think these numbers are going to continue for Saw. But no film is going to knock Saw out the way Paranormal did, because it's a fluke. Paranormal was a fluke. They had hype, and if they could recreate that for every film they release, well, yeah, they can't. And they have no idea why people liked it. I don't know why I liked it. I don't know why I went in the first place. Yeah, no, I just okay. I know why I did, because the whiny bastards that complained about it. Oh, really? You saw Paranormal Activity? You like that? I mean, isn't it like Blair Witch? I just want to slap people. It's not like Blair Witch. I like Blair Witch. I like Blair Witch too. So. Film snobs annoy the hell out of me. Yeah. But everyone's entitled to their opinion. No, they're not. No, they really aren't. No, some people should not be entitled to opinions. Okay. What's next? All right, Astro Boy. That opened? In its second week. That's open. At the time of this recording, we record mostly on the weekends, and we don't usually have the exact tally of the numbers. So this is from the week before. So Astro Boy would actually be in its third week. And how's it doing? Not good. 3.4 million. It's made 11 million so far. Cost 65. Who did that? Who was behind that? Remember when Tim Burton was trying to get that made, like 15 years ago? It's not like a DreamWorks or it's not a Buena Vista. It's not Disney type thing. So I don't. It might actually be good. It could be Fox. It could be Warner Brothers. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it's not doing well. Right. At all. That's another film that should be released in, maybe early spring, late summer or something like that. And that's number 7, right? That is number 7. Number 8 is the Stepfather remake. Okay. That also, it's not a... It's doing what they expected. It cost 20, it's made 24 so far. Remake a franchise, we'll make our money back, right. The DVD will be ahead a little bit, that's the end of it. It made $3.2 million in the 8th spot. Right. There will be no Stepfather 2 remake, but this was... Probably not. No. Yeah, I don't think so. Then Cirque du Freak, The Vampire's Assistant, number 9. How much has that made? That's by the way, you were dead on. If you listen to the earlier podcast, you came out and you predicted $6.5 million for opening weekend, didn't you? Did you predict that, or did we have the numbers already? No, we had predictions. Just like I have predictions for this. Oh, I thought you predicted, because I looked back, I was like, wow, he was dead on with that. $6.5 million. No. I have predictions for this weekend, so that we're not totally behind. All right, but that's bombing, right? Totally. It cost $40 million. was made $3 million last weekend. It's up to $10 million, and it's in its second week.
You know, it's like every now and then I'll watch TV, and then a trailer will pop up out of nowhere, and I'll watch it for a couple seconds, and there's a split second of reality where I'm just trying to figure out if it's a parody or not. Like if it's a fake trailer for a movie that has. It's like, is this really a film? No, this is coming out. What? Wait, no. This can't be a real movie.
Exactly. No, you're right. No,
it's like the first time I ever saw a commercial for Cop Rock.
Yeah.
Like, this is an SNL skit, right? This is a skit. It's a parody, right?
Is this really happening? And the number 10 film is Amelia, and that's with Hilary Swank.
Amelia Earhart.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you know what? They're obviously pushing for Oscar with that because it's out on 1,000 screens, made $3 million.
Yeah, I think we're doing our anti-Oscar episode this year, I think.
No, definitely.
We're done with it, right? Are you done with it? I'm done.
I'm totally done. And you know what? It's gotten to the point where I've looked at the movies that have been released for this, because they always shoot for fall and winter to release their Oscar noms, that the Academy will look at to nominate. And now it's up to 10 movies.
Yeah.
I can't see 10 movies. I mean, I see maybe one or two here, but you know that this year films like The Road will be nominated for Best Picture. Maybe not. It might be a great film, but it might not be Best Picture worthy. But it'll get nominated because they have 10 slots to fill now.
Right.
They have so much filler. Up will probably be in there, and get nominated. You might even have
Cirque du Freak.
No. But you might even have a film like, dare I say it, Where the Wild Things Are. If it was that well made, it just because there's going to be a lot of filler now. There's not just 5 movies.
Wait, that's based on a kid's book, isn't it?
Where the Wild Things Are?
No, Cirque du Freak.
I believe it is.
That's a kid's. I remember that. Okay, it just clicked. Yeah, I remember.
Amelia's probably going to get nominated for Best Picture. I mean, there's just so many movies that are going to. You're going to see like your 3, 4, maybe 5. That okay, I can definitely see that those are definitely the ones. If it was still at 5 noms, those would get in. But then you're going to see 4 or 5 in there that you're just going to know that's just filler.
Right.
Really, you really are. So that's the top 10 for October 30th through November 1st.
I have a suggestion.
Let's hear it.
I think we should do a podcast of the Oscars. We should record while we watch live.
Oh.
With the sound turned down, with subtitles up, and just record ourselves watching the Oscars.
Okay.
And just get the highlights of that for a show. Just our answer. Why watch it after and complain about it? So we just get the hate and bile come out pure right there. I'm going to throw that out there. It's a good idea. I like that.
Maybe I'll have an Oscar party and
everyone
in on the
podcast. There you go.
We got the mic now, though.
The evil's flowing. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
So finger list?
Finger list.
The finger list, we don't do that often. We're trying to do it more often.
Anytime we do the top 10, we try to do the finger list.
Which is out of the top 10
now,
films.
Do you want to do the finger list for the Halloween weekend top 10, or do you want to do it for the estimated top 10 for this coming weekend?
We'll do the estimated.
We'll do the estimated?
So lead into that. Basically, the top 10. The finger list is out of the top 10 films of the weekend, which film would you rather cut your pinky finger off than watch?
Okay. The top 10 estimates for this coming weekend, which is November 6th through 8th,
right,
is the number 1 film estimated to be number 1 is Disney's A Christmas Carol,
right,
at $42 million. Then you have number 2, Michael Jackson's This Is It, number 2. The Fourth Kind at number 3.
That would be Paranormal Activity with UFOs, owls, and people half asleep.
And the only reason it was even released at all was because of Paranormal Activity.
There you go.
And realistically, I'd have to look back to see if it ever was a January release, because I can guarantee it was.
I don't think it was even released. I mean, you look at that; it looks just like
it's like fake, real footage.
They just pushed it.
Yeah.
They pushed it out because Paranormal was doing testing through the roof. So,
and it's estimated to make $13.5 million this weekend too. So,
well.
I mean, it's not horrible, but it's doing it on 2,500 screens, so it's not doing paranormal money. People are not kind of tired of it, but they're kind of
make some cash.
They're kind of done with it because now we're moving into Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
right.
People are more concentrating on that. Mm-hmm. Number 4, The Men Who Stare at Goats, which I really want to see.
I read the book. Excellent book.
Really?
It's a true story.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And I just love George Clooney, so anything that he does, I'm almost going to watch
Ewan
it.
McGregor and George Clooney, they had great comic timing, That kind of it's yeah.
And then the whole Jedi thing, and then they have Ewan McGregor in there. It's
yeah, no, the book's great. The movie looks great. I'm dying to see it.
Then you have at number 5, The Box.
Yeah, by Richard Matheson.
Right.
Based on the short story by him.
Yep.
The man who also wrote I Am Legend, so that's why this is out.
Yep.
This was also, actually, they've done Twilight Zone episodes. I think the new Twilight Zone series, they did an episode based on The Box.
Okay.
I've seen that. So, and actually, it's a short story, and I remember seeing it as a half-hour or 1-hour Twilight Zone episode.
Okay.
And I remember it being like the right size for that. And I see the trailer, and they put so much weirdness into the movie to try to stretch out the concept.
Really?
So it could either be great or it could suck.
Yeah.
Because the concept by itself is not enough for a film.
Right. Yeah. No, it was too short.
But all the kind of conspiracy, supernatural, weird stuff they put into it might make it a big film.
Interesting. That's something we're going to mention when we do our Thanksgiving list. Is the amount of horror films that end up in November because of the overlap for Halloween. Mm-hmm. There's just so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you would constitute this as a horror film, but you definitely wouldn't say it's not a thriller or a suspense type film.
Right.
It's not everything can be released at Halloween, so it overlaps. Mm-hmm. That's why you get things like the Fourth Kind and The Box and things like that.
Yeah.
So number 6, Paranormal Activity.
Right.
Which is, it sounds about right because you got a bunch of new films in the list now. Mm-hmm. It's 8.5 estimated. Then Law Abiding Citizen.
At number 7.
Couples Retreat. Mm-hmm. Number 8.
Right.
Where the Wild Things Are at number 9. And Saw still holding on in the top 10 at number 10. So, finger list.
After you, sir.
I'm going to have to go with Michael Jackson's This Is It.
Yeah, there's no passionate hatred from me for any of these films for the most part.
Yeah.
It's almost a tie for This Is It or The Fourth Kind, but I think between the two of them, I'd probably be more pained by This Is It.
You know what? Yeah.
This Is It.
You know what? I think I'd rather see The Fourth Kind over Couples Retreat, which I was going. Let's put it this way: if Michael Jackson's This Is It wasn't in the top 10, it would have been Couples Retreat. But
if it wasn't for This Is It, I'd take a pass. I would see all the films on the list.
Really,
I wouldn't have a finger to cut off. But when Michael Jackson's This Is It, and partly for the audience, for me.
Yeah. No, okay, I get that.
I just the level of. All right, I'll annoy some people. The level of intelligence of the people that go to see that in the theater, I don't want to be sitting next to them.
No.
So
yeah, well, okay. So we're both in agreement.
And that's right. I just insulted Michael Jackson fans. There. I'm not even insulting Michael Jackson. Just the people that would go see his film.
Yeah. So okay, we're in agreement. Michael Jackson's This Is It.
Yeah, but very, very. I may even change my mind halfway through. And bandage my hand up and go see it anyway. I was like, yeah. They were giving out free lanyards at the opening weekend, so that would almost pay for itself.
So all the new movies that open up this weekend are The Box, A Christmas Carol, The Fourth Kind, and The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Right.
You've seen A Christmas Carol.
What do you want with me?
You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I'd rather not. I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Haunt me no longer!
What if you were given a second chance to get your life right? This holiday season, the ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future
Get away! Get away!
will give one man that chance. This November, Walt Disney Pictures and Image Movers Digital invite you to experience the classic tale like you've never seen it before in Disney Digital 3D and IMAX 3D.
Humbug.
Disney's A Christmas Carol.
Yes, I have.
Let's hear about it.
I didn't even make notes yet because I was
Really?
midnight showing of it. You can go to Moviesucktastic.com and you can see my video review.
Yep.
2:00 in the morning in the lobby after watching the damn thing. I've been complaining about this since Beowulf. That the CGI, the whole concept of making computer cartoon graphic thingies to the point where they're realistic, peaked with Shrek.
I mean, you have the forest and the swamp side, which is more cartoony, but then you have, like the princess and the peasants and all that, and that's just
I don't even
ultra
mean,
realistic.
I don't even mean like as far as like realism, as far as the fluid motion, the facial expression, the skin, the hair. That was the last time I saw a film where I was like, oh wow, they really did a good job. Everything after that's been, well, yeah, I know they can do that. I saw Shrek. I actually caught the last half hour of Beowulf recently because I've not watched the film.
Really?
And again, all right, why couldn't we do this live action? Because I'm sure Angelina Jolie would have stripped for a live action version, so they didn't have to do this.
You know what? I did like Beowulf, and the whole time that I'm watching the film, liking this film, just saying, this could have been done live action. Mm-hmm. The whole time. And as much as I liked it, there's always that one little piece of me that says, if they had done this live action and just thrown in, just really good special effects, it would have been fine. Right. And that's what it should have been done, but they didn't do it. And I think Beowulf costs upwards in the range of 150 million, 175, just like this.
175 million
for a Christmas Carol.
Yeah. So Zemeckis' first Disney film since
Polar Express.
I believe Polar Express, which I've never seen.
I've seen that, and again, it's ultra real. It's, again, live action. It would have been fine.
Jim Carrey's first Disney film, so now he's whoring for Disney. And,
yeah.
I mean, I do give them credit for, one, trying to make a faithful adaptation of the Dickens classic.
Okay.
They really... Actually, it's too
faithful?
It's too faithful because the first ghost is like a candle.
Oh,
and
really?
With the flame, and in the film they have like the voices all, I'm the ghost of Christmas past, and they just play with the candle moving its head, and watching it, it's like, this is very faithful, and I rather watch the cabbie from Scrooged. It's just too annoying. But they keep it faithful, but it's too faithful for two reasons. One, it's a family film, right?
Right.
This is not a film for young kids.
Oh, really?
Because they keep some of the darker aspects, while like at the end of the Father Christmas Present, Ghost of Christmas Present.
We shouldn't fault it for that, though.
Yes, because they made it as a cartoon to gear towards children. And then
they're fooling you into taking your children,
right? And I
but
sat
in
there.
The adult is the one that's going to be more happy.
I'm faulting them for doing it though because they know what they're doing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sitting there just knowing my heart full of glee that some parent's going to spend the next 2 weeks hearing their kids scream at 2:00 in the morning, waking up because they saw Father Christmas like holding his chest and dying slowly, and while a mugger and prostitute come out from underneath his robes and attack Scrooge.
Wow.
It's not a kid's film.
Okay.
So the problem is it's a schizophrenic film. Because 1/3 of the film is really serious, dramatic, straight Dickens.
Okay.
One third of it is cutesy stuff for the kids and the parents that you can laugh at, and 1/3 of it is now we're zooming over rooftops. Oh, now it's coming right at you. 3D coming right at you.
Yeah, and I've mentioned in prior podcasts that the 3D thing is just really starting to piss me off.
Well, and they're doing it now because now it's cost effective because of the cartoons. It's so easy to do for cartoons.
Yeah, it's not difficult to just add that extra bit.
Right, because when you're shooting a live action 3D,
they're already animating the film, so it's easy peasy.
Right. I mean, when you're shooting a live action film, you need the special film, the special
filters,
camera.
Yeah.
But now
sure.
it's just and plug it in, type it, put the code in. It's 3D. There you go.
Did you just go Tron?
Yeah.
Where it's like that's
just get Master Controller to take care of it. Everything will be fine.
Okay.
Jeff Bridges will make it 3D.
Just by typing in "make it 3D,"
make it 3D.
Enter.
Yeah. Wait for the prompt to come up.
Okay, that works.
I don't think you can use make because I don't think computers understand this. You have to put turn film to 3D.
Syntax error.
Yeah.
Okay.
If 10, go to 20. But no, I was for the most part bored, and I know I'm supposed to be sitting there marveling at how realistic it looks like. But you hire Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's the goofy guy you hire because he can do it with stuff with his face and with his body.
Oh,
he's a physical actor with a great ability to do voices and impressions, and they animated him.
Yeah,
and they probably paid him an assload of money,
probably,
so they could animate him.
Probably, and the thing about it too is, on numerous occasions, it's been noted that he saved, studios millions of dollars just what he can do with his face and his body, his physical comedy. One perfect example is The Mask. Mm-hmm. They said because of how he could have contorted his chin and his jaw, they said that he saved them, I think it was estimated in $1 million or $2 million. Easy.
That covers craft service.
Yes, it does.
So that was annoying throughout the film because there'd be scenes. There were a couple scenes where actually I'm watching. I'm thinking, you know what? This would be great if Jim Carrey was actually acting. This would be Jim Carrey going back to like the serious acting thing because he did that for a little bit with Man in the Moon.
He did it with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
But now he's fallen back to Yes Man and this stuff because he makes money every time he does it.
Yeah. And
this one, it was like, wow, this could be. It could have almost been Oscar material, at least for a nomination for something for acting. If they had done a straight film adaptation, but you know what? There's no money in that.
The Truman Show as well.
Truman Show. I was going to mention that. Yeah. But there's no money in the straight adaptation of Dickens.
No, and
so
it just
they could have made Zemeckis could have made a really good. Well, you know what? If it was a real film, Zemeckis wouldn't have done it.
No, he's kind of gone the way of all special effects all the time now.
Right.
And it's gotten to the point where it's just silly and absurd.
Yeah.
I just don't know where you went, Zemeckis.
You went lazy. Lazy!
Yeah, as a lot of filmmakers are going these days. So, I mean, that's why I see a film coming out like The Road, and I just say to myself, realistically, that's probably going to be a lot of real storytelling, real acting, and it'll have special effects, but it'll probably be more stunt work than anything else. So I'm looking forward to it.
The CGI will come into play for a lot of what they would usually do matte backgrounds for.
Yeah,
like all the scenery and
I don't mind stuff like that.
No, and that's where
great.
It marvels. That's where it's marvelous, and I think it's wonderful because then they can just focus on doing the film. Yeah. But when they use CGI for I remember, I think it kicked me in the head watching Daredevil in the theater, which is bad enough.
Yeah.
Watching Daredevil, but there's a scene where he's at the end. Spoiler alert! He's on the top of the building and he drops a rose and it falls down to the ground in a puddle. The rose is CGI. It falling is CGI. The ground it falls on CGI. The puddle it falls next to is CGI, and the rat that runs by is CGI.
All could have been done with real things. Could have been a real rose, a real puddle, real ground, and a real rat. It's not. You know what? You probably could have done it for 1/10 of the cost.
And you know who I blame for that? Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Goddamn feather.
When I first saw Forrest Gump, I thought it was an okay film when I first saw it. Well, I didn't think it was a bad movie. That's also a Zemeckis movie, by the way.
I still don't think it's a bad film.
So it's kind of come full circle,
I
if
still
you
don't,
really think about it.
I still don't think it's a bad film. I just think it's overly hyped and is nowhere close to as good as it could be.
No, and it's one of those things where if the Academy really just sat back and looked at a lot of the movies it gave Best Picture, it probably would say, you know what? Pulp Fiction should have got Best Picture that year. Hands down.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, if they looked back at a lot of films like that, I think they would see a lot of movies like scratching their heads going, why did we give that movie Best Picture?
Because if they gave it to Pulp Fiction, the right wing would come out and say that Hollywood was glorifying heroin use and violence for giving an Oscar to a film like that. Yeah. Of course, they had no problem when Raging Bull gets an Oscar.
Well, Best Actor.
Best Actor.
Yeah.
That's still,
for De Niro.
Yeah, because so does that mean is Hollywood promoting
beating your wife?
They do
sleeping with underage children.
Right. No, that's the right wing does support that.
Oh, do they?
Well, at least by proxy. Not for real. I was contemplating doing my own side show, like doing a political podcast, just me.
Yeah.
But I kind of realized that it would start off like it'd be a 1 hour podcast, and the first 15 minutes would be talking about current events, and it would slowly degenerate, and the last 10 or 15 minutes would just be me a string of obscenities into the microphone, followed by like quiet sobbing as I just like roll over into the corner until the tape runs out or whatever. So I think it's not a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea.
What tape?
I don't know, but it'd have to be a tape.
I mean, I could add that sound effect if you want.
It means like Joey calling me, "Are you okay? Turn off the microphone."
But yeah, no, I mean, the thing with Forrest Gump, where he meets different people through the years, and their mouths are animated, and it just back then
But it was the feather.
The feather.
That's
started.
what did it. The goddamn feather.
Yeah. Well, and also Forrest Gump really started them using those types of special effects in commercials and music videos too.
Yeah.
And it just worked. The one music video that comes to mind is Soundgarden's Black Hole Sun, where it just...
Black Hole Sun, won't you come? That's all I know.
Yeah. But, there's a scene...
And then there's the chorus. Black Hole Sun, Black Hole Sun, won't you come? You were saying? Anyway,
never mind. Never mind. It just kind of generated and escalated to things like that.
Yeah, so basically, that's my main gripe with The Christmas Story. It's boring in some of the parts.
Yeah.
It's interesting in some of the parts. You already know the
but
story.
It's not interesting,
and I'm against the story, by the way, too. I don't like A Christmas Carol.
Oh, really?
You know why?
Why is that?
Because Scrooge turns too quick. This man has spent literally half his life, if not more, being a complete bastard. Right?
That's why I like the one with Bill Murray.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn till like literally the last 15 minutes of the film.
I'm watching A Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. Drew Carey should have played that. That'd be more interesting. Jim Carrey, and literally, the first time he sees Tiny Tim, like the first vision he sees of Tiny Tim, please tell me the boy doesn't die. He's seen crippled people in the street before. This is England in that time period. And that was another thing, too. The animation, the most sterile, grungy time, the most grungy London.
Yeah.
London in that time period.
It's cloudy. It just always seems to be like
they show chimney
sun.
sweeps. They show chimney sweeps sweeping on the roof during one of the big look at things coming at the camera scenes.
Yeah.
And it's the cleanest chimney sweep I've ever seen. There's a scene where a miniature Scrooge, because he gets shrunken down to 2 inches high, climbs through a sewer pipe, and it's a clean sewer pipe.
Really?
The film is so sterile. Even the parts that are supposed to be grungy or dirty, they're very sterile. And there's no soul to the film. And no matter how much, there's really good dramatic, the voice acting is excellent. And it's well written. It's well written to an extent.
So was Beowulf, No, I liked Beowulf, but did you see the whole thing?
No, I saw the last half hour.
Well, that's not good enough.
It really is.
No, it's not.
It really is. I know the story, and I saw the
No, it's not.
Because the CGI. If it wasn't for the CGI, I would have been interested.
Well, I love the story of Beowulf.
There's no magic anymore. I'm tired of being no magic.
No. You're right. And, that's kind of where we're going with this.
So by all means, take your 5-year-old, 7-year-old to see A Christmas Story, and then deal with... Christmas Carol. Sorry, Christmas Story is better. Take your young child to see A Christmas Carol, and then deal with the child psychologist later, and the screaming and the nightmares, and have a happy Christmas. So we're good other than that. Yeah. But that's Brunchy. Yeah, no, that's my review on Christmas Carol. That I didn't take notes afterwards because it was too damn late.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that pops in my head is literally what I said. And there are a couple scenes where I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, or that, but nothing wowed me. Nothing wows you anymore in these damn things. And I actually forgot it was 3D because I didn't see it in 3D.
Oh, okay.
And so, the first 10 minutes is almost like the sweeping through London. And at one point, I'm thinking to myself, why does the camera keep going through things, like going through a wreath and going through why? Wait a minute, this is supposed to be 3D.
And the problem with things like that is, I kind of think
they were right before that.
It takes away from the film a little bit when you see a movie that is 3D and you don't actually see it in 3D, because you can absolutely tell when, okay, this is supposed to be in 3D. I'm not seeing it in 3D, so it kind of ruins it.
And it's written and directed towards the gimmick. So there are scenes in that film that shouldn't be there, don't belong in there, don't help the film, don't progress the film,
right.
But they're there to showcase the special effects.
And this is why...
Like Star Wars.
And this is why I'm really hoping that 3D kind of dies very quickly.
It's taken longer now, though, because it doesn't cost as much. That's the problem.
Well...
They can keep on making every kid's film in 3D that they want.
The problem is, I think they're really trying to shoot for the stars with 3D, because they're now coming out with TVs that have 3D built in.
Yeah. So
that you can actually use the right polymorph glasses.
Right.
Like if you went to the theater to see it first.
Yeah.
So, personally, I could give a crap about 3D. If, per se, it helps me enjoy video games more, then I'm all for it. But as far as movies go, keep 3D out of my movies. I just don't care for it.
Oh, on a final note, I have not checked any of the reviews for A Christmas Carol.
They're positive.
They're positive?
Yeah.
If there are any negative ones out there, I would like to predict at least one of them says humbug. And if they do, find that critic and beat them.
It's inevitable, though.
Yeah, it is. It
really is.
Yeah. I would have given the review humbug if I didn't realize how bad it is and how somebody else will do it.
What are you going to do?
Complain.
Okay. So, you want to take a quick break?
Sure. Let's take a break.
Let's take a quick break.
Rinse the Christmas Carol out of my mouth.
Yep. So, we'll be right back.
Honey.
Yeah?
Get that.
Go wash up for dinner, Pumpkinhead.
Okay, I got it.
You gotta get out of here. What are you doing? Come on.
The Shelton case, where are we?
Let's make the deal.
They killed a little girl, Nick.
Some justice is better than no justice at all.
You need to tell the husband.
I don't understand. With Darby's testimony, Ames will go to death row.
What? The jury's gonna believe me.
The deal is done. I'm sorry. This is just how the justice system works.
What was supposed to be a painless execution has turned into something out of a horror film.
The machine was corrupted.
Who could have done this?
I killed your friend Ames in prison, but I wanted to keep you all for myself.
Your heart is beating so fast. Me too. Did you murder Clarence Darby?
He killed my wife and child.
I guess we're done here.
Counselor, you might want to cancel your 12:30 lunch with Judge Roberts.
Hello?
You and whoever else you have helping you are gonna pay.
Now you're the one who makes deals with murderers, yeah? So I've come to make mine. Release me.
For what?
Or I kill everyone.
We have him locked up and he's still killing people?
I found a couple of contract payments from the Department of Defense.
Tell us what we're dealing with. A spy?
Spies are a dime a dozen. Clyde has a brain, and he was the best. If Clyde wants you dead, you're dead.
We're gonna lock the city down, put an armed cop on every corner.
He's in jail because he wants to be in jail.
I'm gonna bring the whole system down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
You will end this.
I'm just getting warmed up.
And we're back with Moviesucktastic. The next movie we're going to talk about is Law Abiding Citizen.
Yes, yes, yes.
So
I was excited about this film. When I saw the first trailer...
Well, the one line that got me, I'm going to take the whole system down.
This is going to be biblical.
Yep. It just... Oh! Or actually, it's going to be biblical.
It's going to be biblical.
And it's just like, all right, I have to see this movie. On that line alone, I have to see this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it.
Right.
Except... ... for the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Last 10 minutes. It's one of the things where...
Extremely disappointing.
We're digging the film. We saw this together in the theater. We're digging this film so much.
Yep.
Loving it. I was just, yeah, it's great. And
I mean, the shit that he puts this entire system through, the judicial system,
now the basic
is
setup,
beautiful.
The basic gist of the film is that, what was it, Clive Owen? No.
Gerard Butler.
It's the same thing. So Gerard Butler has his wife and kid are brutally murdered in front of him during a home invasion.
Well, the wife is brutally raped and killed in front of him. The daughter is taken...
Now, let's be fair. He rapes her after he stabs her.
Yeah.
So she could have been dead but before he was finished.
Well, I was getting to the point that the daughter isn't actually murdered in front of him. They take her away, and they just say that she was killed.
You're gonna argue that fine point.
Sure.
His wife and daughter are brutally murdered while he's there. He witnesses the event. So it goes to the prison, and Jamie Foxx, in order to protect his success rate, for
he makes
trials,
a deal behind closed doors that doesn't involve Butler's knowledge, and it involves both men getting prison time, one getting the death penalty, and one
gets off like 3
years.
Yeah,
but the real kicker is the guy that got the 3 years is the guy that actually did all the killing. The guy that got the raping. And the raping, and the guy that got the death penalty is the one that just kind of stood there and watched, who you could tell...
He deserved it too, but...
No, yeah, he absolutely deserved it, because he didn't do anything to stop him.
Right.
But you could tell that he's going through his head, man, this isn't... What the hell am I doing here?
Right, so
this really isn't for me.
So what nobody knows is that Gerard Butler's a secret agent kind of stuff, and 10 years...
He's actually more than that. He's
much more,
like a serious...
He's one of the shady...
Specialist
in making sure people die. And so he 10 years later, he just starts killing everybody.
It took him 10 years to come up with this master plan.
Well, he was waiting for it, yeah.
Beautiful.
And the thing is, it kind of takes on a Seven sort of John Doe situation where... Or even Saw to a certain extent, where his character is so smart that he actually knows what people are going to do before they do it. Yep. He's planned so far in advance that he's predicted and he's manipulating events in such a way. So, and there's a possibility of, does he have accomplices, and how does he know what's going to happen next, and are we doing what he wants us to do? And it's really that kind of trap where it's every time they do something because they think they're helping, it's actually working against them.
Absolutely.
And you're rooting for him the whole way.
Yeah, you absolutely love Gerard Butler's character, Clyde. And at what point in the film?
That's why I thought it was Clive Owen, because his name is Clyde, and I got confused.
And through the whole movie, you're just rooting for him left and right, and you don't even give a shit if he's killing someone that's innocent. They're in the judicial system. They're part of the poison. They're part of the disease. You gotta go. Right. And it's the only way you're gonna learn something kind of scenario.
Yeah. My favorite scene, hands down, you heard me laughing, was the second half when he defends himself in the court. Just that, he's got a nice bait and switch. He's playing with everybody.
Yep.
And so what happens, though, is that the last 10 minutes of the film... Now, let's be fair. It's not a spoiler alert, because we're going to try not to mention how it ends. But
Scott kind of pulled me to the side and said, I really want to ruin the ending of this film because I hated it that much.
If it wasn't still in the theater, I'd be all for it. I'm not that big on anti-spoilers, but it's still in the theater. And you know what? I wouldn't even tell someone not to see the film. It's a great film.
No, it's a good, really great film.
But be prepared to be pissed off in the last 10 minutes.
And a lot of the negative reviews that I've been reading online are because of the ending. Because everyone's like, They're just kind of scratching their head going,
can you say... test audience?
There's a rumor, and it's just a rumor, that there is an alternate cut of the film.
There's gotta be. No, that's not... Oh. And also, another film where they show the ending in the trailer.
Yep.
Motherfuckers.
Yep, and that was one of the reasons why I got really mad when we were talking after the film. It's like, they showed the ending in the trailer. Again! It's like, when are they going to stop doing that?
Did I mention the trailer for Orphan in our last podcast?
You did.
I did?
Yeah.
That they mentioned that it was a trailer for the DVD coming out, and they say, now with a new alternate ending. And they show the ending of the alternate ending in the trailer.
Yep, and it ruined it for you. And that's why I haven't bothered, because I still haven't seen it. They really have to stop with showing the ending in the trailer.
I understand they want to show all these cool scenes from the film, but I mentioned 7 because of the John Doe character and the Clyde character. Again, the whole the orchestration of events and like the bad guy that you're kind of rooting for because he's not really hurting anybody I cared about.
He's the anti-hero.
Anti-hero, exactly. He's the Punisher.
You know, you're totally rooting for the anti-hero.
Oh, the scene with the steak.
Oh, yeah. The scene with the judge, scene with the...
There are some great scenes in this film.
With his law. I mean, just every scene in the movie, when you see it, you're like, I just fucking love Gerard Butler's character.
Yeah.
You just love Gerard Butler's character.
I mean, see the film. It's a good film. But the last 10 minutes of the film, just be prepared to be angry.
Be prepared to walk out of there.
It's a cheesy ass...
It's a Hollywood ending.
There you go.
It's a Hollywood ending because the test audiences didn't like the original ending. Guaranteed. So they changed it at the last minute. And you're gonna fucking hate it. That is a guaranteed fact.
If there's an alternate ending, I will get the DVD.
And I will figure out a way to splice that into the real cut, and I'll make us backup copies.
And there's only one screenwriter.
Yeah.
So that's usually a great sign.
Yeah, it's Kurt Wimmer.
And what's he done beforehand? Did you ever check that?
I didn't check what he did beforehand. Usually I do that, but I didn't this time.
I'm big on that. I usually look at the writer. I don't care about the director. I care about the writer. You know, being a writer myself.
Yeah, F. Gary Gray is the director, and
what did he do before?
He did The Negotiator.
Oh.
You know,
not bad. Not a bad film.
He actually did.
Not a great film, but not
he
bad,
actually
not
did
bad
another
film.
film right before this that is very notable. And I forgot to write it down, and I apologize for that.
It's not that notable.
Well, I saw, you know what? I saw his list of films, and I forgot to hit print because I was doing all notes for the entire podcast. But, no, but he's done, you know, The Negotiator, and you're right, that wasn't a bad film at all. But, you know, just be prepared to hate the ending. Well, seriously.
I mentioned Saw. I mean, 7.
Yes.
7. If you remember back to 7, not only did they not reveal the ending in the trailers, they managed to advertise that film without letting anyone know that Kevin Spacey's even in the goddamn film.
That's right.
I remember seeing it in the theater, and he like the minute he walks in the screen, I didn't know he was. No one knew. He's not in. He wasn't credited on any of the pre-credits, and no advertising. They kept it a secret, purposely.
And the thing about it was, he had also done The Usual Suspects the same year.
He was a big name.
At that point,
they had a film with a big name actor at the time, and he still is a big name to an extent.
Yeah, at that point,
and they didn't use him in advertising.
So
there's no excuse for putting the ending in the goddamn trailer.
No, of course
you can avoid that.
No, absolutely.
And 7 was such like a hit and miss wild card too. I mean,
came out in September of '95. You know,
they had no idea that film was going to be received as well as it was.
No.
So they really had no reason to give it that kind of stock. It was like, okay, don't use Kevin Spacey's name in advertising.
And if I'm not mistaken, the release date was pushed around a lot. Like I think it had a January at one point, which is common. Doesn't seem so common anymore, but it was definitely common more a few years ago, where you get a film like The Butterfly Effect,
right,
where the studios just don't get it, and they go, well, we don't get it, so this movie stinks.
Mm-hmm.
You get a January. Same thing almost happened with 7, where, you know what, we kind of don't get it, and it kind of had it slated for a January, and then it was pushed to a September, and so happy it did, because it did so much better.
Yeah.
And it definitely deserved all the accolades it got.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, you know, things like that. And there's actually another movie that is like that, and it's another movie I saw that was not received well at all, but was an excellent movie, and that was Revolver.
In every game and con, there is always an opponent, and there is always a victim.
Jake Green got out today.
7 years goes by quick. Are you sure this is a good idea? He owes me and he owes you. Now he has to pay. It's cause and effect. Rule 1 of any game or con. You can only get smarter by playing a smarter opponent.
I've been warned if I let you sit down at this table, I might regret it.
I'll toss you for everything under your chin.
You're on.
Where was security?
They gassed him. It was impossible to break into.
Well, it obviously wasn't impossible to move, now was it, Paul? We don't even use that safe.
Sam Gold's powder was in there.
What's rule 2 of any game?
The more sophisticated the game, the more sophisticated the opponent.
Mr. Gold doesn't give more time, and he doesn't give second chances.
No one sees gold. But gold sees everything.
Sam Gold, I found myself chained to. When the opponent is challenged, it means the victim's intelligence is questioned. Pull the troops together.
There will be consequences.
You think I'm afraid of the consequences? No one can accept that.
We know Green's behind everything.
Hurt him!
Get in the car. I wanted you dead, I would have shot you already.
Sort of never misses.
Something is very wrong here. Wake up, Mr. Green. No one lives and displeases gold.
Do you know who Sam Gold is, Mr. Green? He's behind every crime ever committed.
You'll always find a good opponent in the very last place you would ever look.
Revolver. Oh, you finally saw it.
I watched it yesterday.
Oh, because I didn't see it when it came out. I finally got around to seeing it 3 or 4 months ago, and I saw Joey after that. I was like, dude, you have to see this film. And I remember exactly what I told you. I said this film, because they never released it or anything.
Too smart.
This film was too smart for audiences.
Yep.
There was no way this film would have bombed if it was released in the theater. Mainstream.
It was released,
not mainstream,
limited.
Yeah, limited. It would not have survived a mainstream release.
It only did $6.5 million in the UK. You know, where Guy Ritchie's films usually do extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
Just nobody got it. I mean, I watched this movie and I loved it, but
and spoiler alert, because we're talking about this.
You have to.
Yeah,
you have to. So, just so you know, spoiler alert, it's coming for Revolver. Well, anyway, I saw it last night.
Oh, and, it's fresh in your head.
Oh, it's totally fresh in my head. And I saw it last night, and just throughout the entire film, and I'm just watching this movie, and I'm just saying to myself, this is way too smart.
You know, I kept thinking the first time I saw it.
What?
He has hair.
Oh yeah, that's one of my notes.
Why does he have hair?
Jonathan Statham. He's got a lot of hair. Actually, he's got hair everywhere.
He's got a beard. He's got long hair.
Yeah.
Why does he have hair?
And you know what? This movie has so many layers in it. Mm. It really does have a lot of layers. You know.
Here's my first note: Statham with hair. Wow. I didn't know he ever had hair.
Yeah, that's my. That's actually my second note. Seeing Jonathan Statham with hair is weird.
Yeah.
My first note is actually his voiceover. I thought was very well done. You know, because Jonathan Statham's got kind of that British raspy type voice. You know, and I thought the voiceovers worked extremely well,
especially considering how important the voiceover is by the end of the film.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
With the whole ego thing, and it's just amazing stuff. It just.
Now I predicted when I was watching it. It took me halfway through the film to realize that the two guys that were manipulating were the two guys were the cellmates.
And you know what?
And I thought it was clever.
This is where I suspected it. It was my note is I suspected the ending when he told the story about him in prison.
Yeah,
that's when I knew. It was the two of them.
And you're probably like me. You thought you were clever. You're like, I know how this is ending. I'm clever because I got this. And then the ending hits, and they reveal the whole thing with the voiceover and the ego, and and you're just sitting there like, I'm an idiot. I didn't even see this coming.
And
it's one of the few times in a film you get the. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt you.
No. I was just going to say that the film is heavily based on Kabbalah religion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you. Because I actually did a little bit of homework after I watched the movie because it was just itching at my brain.
Right.
And, Big Pussy, who is Vinny Pasteur's character who plays Zach,
right.
He is supposed to be, it's like a triangle. you know, and he's supposed to be the one side of that triangle, and then Andre 3000 or Andre Benjamin, who plays Avi.
Andre Y 3000.
That's his name. He's a music artist.
Oh, okay, I get it.
Okay, he did that song "Hey Ya, Hey Ya." No.
No.
Okay.
See, here's the pulse. Here's me. Nowhere near it.
Anyway, he represents the one other end of the triangle, and then obviously Jake Green, which is Jonathan Statham, he's another part of the triangle. It's all three sides of the Kabbalah religion. Yeah. And there's so many layers in this movie.
And there's a psychological aspect.
Well, the whole thing with Sam Gold, like the not being.
Did you catch now? I read a lot of reviews. See, now you did the research.
Yeah.
My immediate thing was, let me see what other people thought of this.
Well, I did the same thing.
And there's a lot of people that complained about the film. And here's the one: I got a lot of people asking, a lot of posts on these news groups. Who's Mr. Gold?
He doesn't exist.
It's Ray Liotta. Mr. Gold is Ray Liotta.
You got that from that? I kind of thought that everybody was Sam Gold.
It's the voice. It's the voice in his head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fine.
Because
everyone has Sam Gold in them. That's what I kind of took away from.
Well, yeah, but for him, he was Mr. Gold because if you notice all the gold in his apartments, and he was kept tanning to the point where he was actually like a golden bronze color.
Right.
The tannings are very important to that. He is Mr. Gold. He is his own worst enemy.
Right.
Which is just, what's happening with Statham.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's the whole thing about how the reason why Guy Ritchie chose
and
Jake Green's last name as Green, greed, money,
And what's Ray Liotta's name?
It was I don't remember.
Mecca.
That's right.
Which
is
Mecca.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think in the credits it's spelled Mecha. I'm pretty sure.
I got it right.
I wrote it down, so I'm pretty sure.
It's actually spelled Macha.
That's what it said. Yeah.
You said Me.
Oh, it's Macha?
It's Ma.
Oh, I misread it. Yeah, and so that, of course, is the Mecca, or the religious aspect of Mecca. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, yeah.
And also, green is Statham as green not only means green as money, but green as amateur, new, because they're trying to bring him into the fold. So he's the new guy. They're trying to show him the way.
A lot of layers. In this movie.
It's just this kind of film that a week later you're still rolling it around in the back of your head.
I want to see it again.
Yeah,
because I know I missed things.
Yeah,
and you go back and you see all those. It's like, oh, that's that. Oh, okay, I get it now.
It was Guy Ritchie doing Mammoth. That's the best I can say.
Yeah, no, and he just nailed it.
Yeah,
and you know how I know he nailed it? Because 17% on Rotten Tomatoes is just, and I don't want to call everybody stupid, but if you do
I do. Can I call everybody? You're stupid. You're stupid.
If the critics had done a little bit of homework, or had done a little bit of research, and then saw the movie, guaranteed it would have been much better received.
If I read reviews and 80% of the negative reviews say either it didn't make any sense, I didn't get it, or I don't want to have to think this hard for a film, good movie.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's a bit of a film snob angle there, because I do admit sometimes you don't want to see a smart film like that, but it doesn't mean it's a bad film.
You shouldn't review it if you're not in the mood for it. Watch it when you're in the mood for it, and then review it.
I can understand reviewing it, coming out and saying, I didn't understand it, and it was beyond me, and it just didn't make sense. I don't like films like that. But actually giving it a bad star rating and calling it a bad film because it's too smart for you is very bad.
And you know what else, too, that I thought
That's the best I could come up with was bad. Yeah. I couldn't get bad. Yeah.
The other thing, one of my other notes is there were scenes in the film where it had very short animation, like A Scanner Darkly.
Oh, when the hotel room sequence.
Right. That I hate that animation. But in small doses is excellent.
Right.
Really, it is, It
had that kind of Guy Ritchie. It wasn't as... It was actually quite linear.
Yeah.
The storyline. So it was unusual for Guy Ritchie, who likes to do the whole jumping back and forth thing.
Yeah.
But it did have that kind of Natural Born Killers feel where it's like, okay, let me play with different styles of storytelling. It was a very experimental film.
I think the whole reason why this movie was made in the first place because he was still with Madonna and very big into the Kabbalah religion and all that. And I think that's the only good thing that came out of their relationship, to be honest,
is
that this film ended up getting made.
I believe it was the first film he did after that Madonna film he did.
Very forgettable film. Don't even remember the name.
Damn it, what was it?
It had Rupert Everett in it. Something Away.
Oh, Carried Away, Overboard. It was
Carried Away.
It was a weird version of Overboard, kind of.
It's something, something.
And I really think it was like, okay, I'll do I'm with her.
Swept Away.
Swept Away.
Swept Away.
I'll do a Hollywood film, and then everybody just said, "Yeah, you suck." And it's all right. I'm going back to what I'm doing. You know what? I'm going to go more. I'm taking it all the way. That's right.
And he did this. And
it was really, if you look at it, he went to the extreme of that, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to go to the other extreme, make a film that no one likes on purpose, as opposed to making a film that no one likes accidentally."
Right. Yeah, I mean, he went and did Revolver in 2005. It got a short release in the U.S. in 2007, 18 theaters only. Made, I think it made $80,000, $84,000, something along those lines. And the United States got a slightly different cut than the UK version to kind of dumb it down, I think.
Yeah.
For here.
Sure.
Which really sucks, but what are you going to do? He wanted it released. And then he went from that and went and did Rock and Rolla. And there's obviously a sequel for that. The real Rock and Rolla is slated, and I have a feeling that it'll actually get made because Sherlock Holmes comes out in December. So I just think Guy Ritchie's on a roll right now.
And speaking of these kind of films, I mean, are we done? Is there anything else you want to add on?
No, I think we're done with Revolver.
There's not much else you can say besides it's brilliant. You got to see it.
It's absolutely brilliant.
And then
do some research first before you watch it.
No. Do the research afterwards, man. Go into the.
Well, if you're prone to hate something because you don't understand it, you might want to do research beforehand.
If you hate something and you don't understand it, don't watch films. Just go sit at home and watch sitcoms. I hear Jeff Dunham has a new series on Comedy Central. I'm sure you'll enjoy the hell out of that. You can understand everything.
Why do you have to insult our audience?
I'm not insulting the audience. I'm sure most of our audience can understand films and don't mind being challenged.
Oh, okay.
People that listen to us aren't the kind of people that whine about, it was too intelligent.
Fine. Okay.
I'm not insulting anybody that likes our stuff.
Okay.
I'm insulting the people that make negative, that post on YouTube. How do you know Paranormal Activity wasn't a real film? Because I'm not a moron.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Speaking of Paranormal Activity.
No. I gotta go back. Speaking of Revolver.
I
finally saw Boondock Saints.
Oh, really?
I finally got around to it.
Because the sequel's out now.
That's why I got around to it. That's like, you know what? I've really been putting this off way too long. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed the film.
No, it was a great film.
It was a great film. It really had that kind of Revolver feel, not Revolver, that kind of Guy Ritchie feel to it. I know there's a documentary about the guy who made the film because he managed
because he kind of fucked himself
every way possible.
Oh God, I actually have it on my Netflix instant queue, and I haven't watched it yet, but I have planned to watch it. It's obviously why it's on the queue. But oh my God, this guy had the world. His movie, he made this movie, Boondock Saints, and couldn't get it released theatrically. And basically what happened was, everyone that looked at, we'll push it aside, we'll do this, we'll do that, goes theatrical, very limited, finds cult status on DVD, I think a year or two later,
right,
and just blows up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the first times that, a director has, made a movie where it excelled so well, once it went DVD, that just like the world is at his fingertips.
Right.
It's just the world is yours. And he just fucked it up left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And now, he also directed the second film, which I haven't heard good or bad yet, to be honest, but
the second one, yeah, I haven't heard.
All Saints Day.
I'm just going to go into it blind.
Well,
I
you
love
know
going
what,
into
Sean
it
Patrick
blind.
Flannery, I like him, but he's obviously had some Botox or something done because he looks nothing like he used to. I don't know if you've seen any pictures of him or any video.
All the time.
If you've seen the trailer.
I haven't.
If you've seen the trailer.
I stopped watching trailers because they keep ruining the goddamn films for me.
Yeah.
Why am I going to watch the trailer?
Well,
I watched 2012 because I know how that ends. Everybody, the whole world is destroyed except for John Cusack, and I'm okay with that. If anyone should survive the end of the world, it should be John Cusack.
That's right. You
That's
think
right.
He'll hot tub time machine? He'll go back and save the day?
I'm dying to see that. Dying to see that. Man.
Well, see, we're suckers for time travel.
I'm
films.
a sucker for time travel. I'm huge. And when I saw the title of it and read the description of it, it's like, this is gonna. Who even made this? This is gonna suck. And then you see the trailer and it says, I gotta see this now. But I'm getting sidetracked with that. You're killing me.
I'm sorry.
But when you mentioned the whole idea how he screwed up his career after making this film that everyone loved, it reminds me of Blair Witch. These guys make this brilliant film.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, the world's at their fingertips, and everything they do after that is not only crap, but like crap squared. Even the Blair Witch video game sucked.
I wonder if
the Blair Witch sequel. They're talking about doing another one now.
The original guys that did the original film are talking about doing an original sequel that will pick up where the last film left off. Now, I don't know how they're going to do that. You know
what? Neither do they. They just pitched the idea. Now they're scratching their heads. How the hell do we do that?
Well, actually, I read that the idea is going to be pitched, and if it's rejected, they'll do something else.
Yeah.
But if it's accepted...
they did that film Altered, right? That's on Netflix now?
The one director...
Right.
Of the two, yeah.
And then those kids that were in Blair Witch, and I liked the film, but then the kids disappeared. They were on shows. It's funny because after
the girl had a
Activity,
cameo in a Jason Biggs film like right after, and then that was it.
And the whole world wanted to kill her anyway.
Yeah.
If her personality came across in person as well as in film, that's why she didn't get any calls. I remember reading about the rough cut they did, where test audiences came out and like really wanted to physically harm her, so they had to tone her down so much in the edit because like everybody hates you.
We're sorry.
No one likes you. Sorry,
we apologize.
Audiences are glad you're dead by the end of that film. I just can't help it. And you weren't even acting; you were just being yourself. So, Paranormal Activity. I'm watching the actor and actress from that film doing these talk shows, and I'm just thinking, enjoy it because you're dead. Your career's over. That's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Bye, Mika.
See ya.
Poor bastards.
Yeah.
And the people that did Paranormal Activity, I guarantee it, nothing's going to come of it.
I was just going to say the same thing, that they're probably not going to do anything after this. Even though their film, $15,000, made $85 million already.
They'll get a lot of offers, they'll take the wrong ones, they'll screw that up, then they'll be poisoned, and then that'll be the end of it. They'll still work in the industry, but they'll never make out of that success what they should have been able to.
Yeah, no.
And
they'll use from the director of Paranormal Activity and the writer of Paranormal Activity. They'll use that forever until it doesn't sell anymore.
Right.
So, but
Mika. That's their actual names too.
Yeah. Katie and Micah.
Micah. Sure, is that Mika?
No, it's Micah.
It's Mika.
No.
I saw the movie. It's Mika.
No, it's Micah.
Micah's like for Micah.
She calls him out. Calls his name out. Micah.
I thought it was Mika.
No.
Okay.
No. So, but yeah, let's talk about Paranormal Activity.
High def camera on. My girlfriend Katie, she thinks there's something in the house. I don't know.
You believe me, right?
I think we're gonna have a very interesting time capturing whatever paranormal phenomena is occurring or is not occurring. Windows are locked, doors are locked, alarm is on. Hearing a weird sound.
Something's here. I feel it breathing on me.
There's footsteps in, but there's no footsteps out.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
If you do try to play games with it, that's inviting it in.
Jesus, looks like something bit you.
It's not the house. It's me.
You cannot run from this. It will follow you.
I'm in control.
You're not in control.
What's happening to me?
This thing left a message.
If it's not a ghost, what is it?
Oh, that's right. We're talking about that now.
Let's talk about
that. Was a nice segue there. I didn't even do that on purpose. That was like a mistake.
That's where I was trying to go with it,
and I took it there. I'm like physic.
Yeah,
man.
So we both seen the film, and we've both seen both endings. The theatrical ending, because we both saw it in theaters.
I haven't seen the alternate ending. I've read about it, but I know of it, so I know enough to talk about it.
Okay, I thought you did see the alternate ending.
No, I didn't get a chance to, but I have read about it in detail, so I do know the differences.
Okay.
And I've seen the theatrical ending, and I'm comfortable talking about it.
Fine.
All right, spoiler alert, because I'm not holding back the ending. You know why? There's no reason to give a spoiler alert, because
it's in the trailer.
It's in the goddamn trailer.
Yep.
So you know how the film ends.
Even if you don't know how the film ends, you know how the film ends. It's this type of film. It can only end one way.
Yeah, so spoiler alert if you don't know already, and that's it. I'm not saying it again.
All right. So, basically, I like the film.
Mm-hmm.
Genuinely creepy. I actually, for the first time in a long time, I slept like crap the first night after I saw this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't affect me that way.
It's just, if you have a house that kind of makes normal creaky noises, settling, if your house is older than maybe, my house is 65 years old, I think.
Uh-huh.
It just, and my house is comparably quiet to the house I grew up in. It just, the way they did it was very well done with the fact that, they're going to bed and then that's when shit happens.
Right.
I don't want shit to happen when I go to bed. So you kind of, it gets in your psyche a bit.
It's a very primal fear. The whole, letting your hand dangle under the edge of the bed at night.
Or your foot or your leg will go over the edge of the bed as well.
Right. Is that kind of, no matter how old you are, there's that little party who's like, something's going to grab you under the bed.
Or, your covers as a kid, when you were scared, your covers protected you kind of feeling. Things like that.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a little, my first apartment, I got for $500 a month because the previous owner had killed himself. Shot himself in the head.
Yeah.
And there was still blood on the walls when we got it. And there was no haunting.
No.
And I was ready for it.
And I don't believe in any of that crap. It's just that,
I'm not saying it's crap.
I don't believe in any of it. But if you can take somebody like me that genuinely doesn't believe in anything like that, and my house making creaky noises and stuff like that kind of gets under my skin to make me sleep like crap. Not that I think my house is haunted, just the fact that it's waking me up and it's like, I can't sleep because this crap wakes me up because I'm more sensitive to it because I had just seen a movie that does that.
You know what? Micah?
Yes.
Reminded me of you.
Why is that?
Because when you just said, I don't believe in that crap, I was like, I could almost see if your wife was being haunted,
right?
You'd be that exact same kind of, yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to film it. It'll be fun. Yeah. Come on. What you got? Come on. You'd be the one goading the evil entities. This is kind of cool. What's going on?
I love the one line in the film where it is a lot like me and Mare, where it's, I'm the IT guy, the tech guy, and I'd have all these cameras and whatnot. And she goes, I love you and your weird love affection for electronics.
Right. Now, did you also, if you have seen Paranormal Activity, when they show them, did you catch that when he was recording the voices and they're playing it back on the computer?
Yeah.
I'm almost positive they were using Audacity.
No, they were using Audacity.
Yeah.
No, absolutely using Audacity. That was the first thing it's one of my notes in here.
Which is one of the programs, it's what we edit the show on at the moment.
No, yeah. Well, you know what? I don't really see why we wouldn't use Audacity forever because it's a great program. It's open source.
Yeah.
Obviously the sound quality is phenomenal, but they were definitely using Audacity.
I'd even do paid advertising for Audacity. But I thought of you a couple of those times. The whole thing with the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Joey do that. It was like, I didn't say I didn't buy this. And by the way, Ouija board scene, way cool.
That was very, very cool.
It's
just floating around. It's just moving around and then just burst into flames.
People can bitch and whine about this film all they want. What I got to say, and I saw this in a theater chock full of annoying teenagers, and I got to say, that was the best audience to see it with. Now, they were a little bit too talkative during the film because there were so many of them.
Right.
So the whole ratio was wrong. But when you watch horror films, the right horror films, you want people to go, ah!
Oh, you want reaction.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, of course, you've got the one girl out front who's just, I can't even think of anything derogatory to say. But you got that kind of girl where the minute there's a pause, like, oh my god, like she's got to play it up.
Okay.
You're waiting for someone to kick her in the back of the head. But for the most part, people were just generally like, laughing.
Yeah, and one of the things that the film did very, very well was just building suspense, just building tension, where you would just see, them go to bed, and then light would go out, and you would just see, when you would first see it would say night whatever.
The counter would speed up.
1:15 in the morning, and you'd just be waiting for something to happen.
Right.
And the tension, the build-up was superb.
Now,
and I think that's what a lot of people had a problem with, because a lot of people going into this film that, they weren't accustomed to things like that, felt bored waiting for things to happen.
But the film is a textbook example of how to build suspense and how to manipulate an audience. The fact that they would show the one night where you hear the noise, and then another night was a noise. This isn't the third night. You're waiting for something to happen, and all of a sudden she wakes up. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ!
Right.
Because they catch you off guard, and they do that. It's a series of, okay, here's a pattern, then we're going to break the pattern.
Right.
Then here's something else to scare you. But then you're used to that, so they keep changing the pattern.
Oh yeah,
and it's all textbook editing, textbook pacing, style. This is, if you're a young filmmaker, this is the film to watch to know how to pace a film. Forget, it's not great dialogue film. The concept is very simple, but if you want to know how to actually assemble a film, this is the one to watch.
Oh, absolutely.
And
the
art is there. All the craft is there.
Yeah, when he was throwing the baby powder down on the floor.
Yeah,
and when they wake up the next day, you see the footprints. But it's not human footprints. It's like you knew right then and there that you weren't dealing with a human entity. You were dealing with, No,
you're dealing with a day trader. You mean the spirit? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like a 3-toed something. It was definitely a demon, like the psychic had mentioned earlier in the film.
Right. I think my favorite part of the film that I think the audience cracked up the most at is when they call the psychic back the second time. And he's supposed to be like, "Yeah, I got to leave. Bye." What was that?
We don't need that jerk. Yeah, that would have been me.
I got it. Don't call it.
What'd you call this fucking guy for? I don't want him in my house.
I can see you doing that too. Listen, Scott can perform the exorcism. We'll bring him over. I got this. We'll just spackle it up. Don't worry. It's not a problem.
It's all right. Don't worry, babe.
I get it. I mean, for the film, one of my notes was see what you can do with a line of credit at Best Buy and an interesting concept. That's it.
Yeah.
So what was it, $11,000 budget?
$11,000, and they gave the film to Spielberg to kind of retouch the ending. And in my opinion, I like the ending that he did. I thought it quote unquote jumped out at you. I prefer the alternate ending.
Now here's the deal too. The theatrical version is also tighter. They edited it down a bit, and they made it a bit more. They made it pop a bit more for a theatrical viewing.
Yeah,
like some of the deep rumblings in the film weren't in the original. They kind of played more for the idea that if you have surround sound and you're with people, this is the kind of thing you're gonna watch.
Oh, sure. No,
watching at home on DVD, the original version probably plays fine, but the editing is tighter. So having that kind of quick ending at the end also plays on the whole idea of the slow, fast, the way the film's kind of paced. So it works a bit more.
I still prefer...
Oh, no.
And like I said, I like both endings. But I still prefer the alternate only because...
The alternate makes more sense.
And it's more realistic.
Yeah.
And to me, having a more sensical, realistic ending makes it a little bit more creepy. Because when I saw the theatrical, even though I liked it, it just went too Hollywood for me.
And that's at one split second, you're like, yeah, it's too Hollywood. Yeah, I know what you mean.
No,
you're right.
Exactly. It just went a little too Hollywood for me. And
you know what it is? I guarantee what it is. Is they're looking at this film, like, all right, we know it's going to make ass loads of money. We have to release it, but something's wrong with it. So something's just not right with this film. Someone's like, wait a minute, there's no CGI in this.
Exactly.
That's it! We need CGI. No one's going to see it.
How the hell did we not think of CGI?
How come there's no CGI in this damn film? We're going to put CGI. It's like, we'll find a place. Don't worry. We'll find a place for CGI.
Right.
You got to have CGI. It's going to be the theater. Come on.
I'm surprised it wasn't 3D.
Yeah, right? The Ouija board.
Or the last scene in the film, which is in the trailer. Now, could have been 3D if you really think about it.
Yeah, I honestly think that they should try to rush out real quick a crossover between A Christmas Carol and Paranormal Activity, where Micah. I'm convinced it was Micah, but Micah and what's her name?
Katie.
Micah and Katie are visited by three spirits over the course of 3 nights. And by the final one, like Tiny Tim's spirit throws Mika through the window and it possesses her, Kate. What was that? What was that, Mika? I am the ghost of Christmas. You know, and the candle floating over. Calls up Father Christmas with the Ouija board. The Ouija board's laughing. I don't understand. It's like H. The Ouija board should have talked in text code.
Sure.
Yeah.
That would have been great.
What, the Ouija board said ROFL. I don't get it. News from the grave. OMG.
Exclamation point.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that was the one part of the film that I thought was a bit of a weak link, was with the message that came from the Ouija board and how he eventually tracked down somebody online who had the previous experience with the spirit. Right. And I was like, okay, you're trying to explain more about the spirit, but you don't need to, because no one was sitting here thinking, explain what the spirit is. You know what? In a regular film, people want more backstory. In a kind of pseudo-documentary like that, I think everybody was fine with the idea of, something's haunting them. Who cares what it is?
It's scarier to not know.
Exactly.
You know, it's like the Jaws effect, where you don't see the monster.
They tried to explain
for a
too
long
much.
period of the film.
Yeah.
And then when you finally see it, it's like, oh, wow. But, you know, with a film like this, you don't have to see the monster.
Yeah, and that's
it's scarier to not know.
And that's like a Hollywood problem too. And I've dealt with that as a screenwriter. I've had screenplays where we've had people reading them and they come back and they have these questions like, but there was like one screenplay we had where the guy cuts off his phone lines or whatever, and then later on he mentions, I called him. And I was like, but we don't understand how he called him. Does he have a cell phone? How did he? Because he cut the phones. How did he call him? I was like, do you really give a shit? That's not even part of the plot. It was just like a throwaway line. Right. It bears no. And it's like a nitpicky kind of thing where people worry that there's loopholes, and the problem is all films have loopholes. They have open-ended things. There's Bela Lugosi's The Raven.
The Raven.
I'm rewatching because I'm finishing the book up, and I'm going to be doing some audio commentary for the film.
Oh, cool.
And like, there's a scene in the opening where the woman's driving in the middle of the night, and she's startled by a detour sign and drives off a cliff. And so they have a quick shot of an ambulance.
Right.
And then they cut to the hospital. In the hospital room. Okay. And when you watch, and I'm the kind of guy where I watch that and I think, well, you had to have the scene of the ambulance, because otherwise you'd show a car crash, you'd go to the hospital, and you're wondering, well, how'd she get to the hospital? What's she do? Who is it? Her in the hospital? I mean, we don't know. You make assumptions. You make William Goldman, excellent screenwriter, wrote The Princess Bride. Right. Guy's like a legend. He's just brilliant. And he's even written these lists up where he's talking about people complaining about. There was a list that was circulating about things like, it's a film when you always find a good parking spot right in front of the building you're going into.
Oh, we talked about that.
Yeah, and his problem was, all right, you want to bitch about that because
you want to see the 20 minutes they're circling around the block to find a spot.
If you want to see a 7-hour film where people are doing stupid stuff, that's great. But the whole point is the film's supposed to be a condensation of a series of events, and you have to skip things. Things have to be assumed. And I like it when you watch some director's cuts where they film these things, well, we need to know how to get from here to here. And then when they watch the film, it's like, well, yeah, but that kind of slows everything down. Do we need that? And then they cut it out. And you watch the director's cut later, and you say to yourself, why did they even need to film that scene? Because you didn't need it. There's this obsession with filling holes that aren't really there. You don't need to know this stuff. So you didn't really need to know about the ghost or the origins of the spirit. It's good enough to know, with the film the way the film was, all you need to know is, something's haunting them. Yeah, so that's my little rant there against that. I mean,
that's all right. That was a good rant.
I liked it. Nowhere near a full rant capacity, mind you. That was every mile.
No. I see. I was going to go full rant capacity for Law Abiding Citizen, but Scott stopped me. Yeah, because I really wanted to ruin the ending for that film like you wouldn't fucking believe. Jesus Christ.
So what else do we want to talk about? What else we got going on?
Well, let's take a break.
Yeah, so let's take a break.
And we're back.
Welcome back. Moviesucktastic, final round going on here. We're trying to get into the whole thing of reader mail, reader responses coming back.
Yeah, we're getting feedback more and more.
Yeah, not a lot, but so I had a couple of things online, a couple posts online. Before we started the podcast, I threw a post on Twitter and Facebook asking anybody if they had any questions, films they want us to talk about, or any questions. Shout them out real quick, and then we'd talk about them on the show. So I got a couple back just in time before I shut down my laptop. Michelle from Facebook, she said that since we have a Friday the 13th coming up this month or next month,
I believe it is this month.
that she wanted to know.
November 13th. Yep.
There you go. So she wanted to know if we wanted to talk about any of the Friday the 13th films.
Sure. Why not? I mean, we've talked about them in briefly in the remake podcast.
No, I haven't seen the new one. I have not seen that
I hated it. Absolutely hated it.
Did you like the remake of Texas Chainsaw?
I didn't hate it. It was actually okay. It wasn't great by any means. Okay. But it wasn't.
What did you hate about the Friday remake?
Well, what I hated the most about it is it really didn't need to be redone.
Well, that's obvious. Beyond that, though.
Well, the pacing was wrong. The whole thing with him and his mother just felt wrong. What it did was it took these characters and it put the very beautiful 90210-esque characters in the middle of nowhere in a cabin.
And then kills them.
And then he kills them.
That's okay then, as long as you kill them.
But the main problem with it isn't its story.
It's no fun killing the girls if they're not pretty, Joey.
Yeah. No, what the main problem with the film isn't that the story that it takes, it's that how it's acted, how it's directed, and how it's paced. It just didn't flow very well.
I can see that.
So that's just one of my main qualms about the film is that it just didn't flow very well at all. It didn't feel like a Friday the 13th film very much. It just really felt like a remake of a Friday the 13th film, and it shouldn't have felt that way. It should have absolutely taken.
When a remake feels like a remake, you know you're in trouble.
Yes.
Yeah. So since we don't have much to talk about as far as the new one goes, let me broach this then.
Okay.
What's your favorite Friday the 13th?
My favorite Friday the 13th. Favorite has probably got to be. It's probably got to be 4. New Beginning.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's run down the list.
Okay.
1. Friday the 13th Part 1.
Well, you know what? All right. Maybe I'm going to retract that. I think I'm going to have to go with the classic and say Friday the 13th Part 1 is my favorite.
One's a classic. One was great because the MPAA kind of lost track and let the whole... This is one of the reasons the MPAA went apeshit when it came to horror films later on. The first Friday the 13th, they really just didn't pay attention to it. It came and went through.
Right.
And so for some reason, they didn't catch the violence, and they didn't have to cut it before it got an R.
Yeah, no.
And
yeah,
there's
exactly.
a lot. I mean, that was Tom Savini original arrows through the throat and spikes, and it was just some really brutal stuff.
Oh yeah,
and they got away with it.
Very much so.
And of course, my favorite, You're Doomed,
which I had to cut from the last podcast because it was unlistenable.
What?
You basically right into the microphone went.
I was like static.
Oh, it was
like I swallowed the mic.
There was no way I could fix it.
No, it was a great character because you're doomed, and he's the first person. He's on the scene. He warns all the kids, and he's like the first to bite it. The whistleblower gets it first in all the horror films. It's great, but I loved him, and the violence is good.
Yeah.
And Kevin Bacon's not in that.
Yeah, he is.
He is. That's right. He is. Okay, thank you. I knew there was a Kevin Bacon thing in there. If it wasn't him, it was somebody that looked like him.
No, it was him.
So we both agree one was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Now I have to admit, 2 and 3 very hazy in my recollection because I didn't.
Mine as well. I know 3 was in 3D.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that
they're coming out with Friday the 13th
Part 2 in 3D. They couldn't wait for the third film because they're fucking shoving 3D down our goddamn throats in every other fucking movie now. So it's like you really couldn't wait till the third film to kind of
right.
go with nostalgia.
Yeah.
You just couldn't, could you?
Mm-hmm.
No, you couldn't. So fuck you, Hollywood, and this 3D bullshit that you're cramming down our throats.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
But I've never really seen the 3D one. I think it's
I've seen 2 and 3, and like you,
bits and pieces,
very hazy with it.
Yeah, very hazy. It's like it was almost like the same thing over and over again. I remember the severed head in the refrigerator at the end of 3. I think it was Mom in the fridge. Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now you liked 4.
I did like 4.
4 was horrible because it was the new beginning, and it was a Friday the 13th without Jason.
You know why I think I'll tell you what. You know why I think 4 kind
Yeah,
of...
the guy with the ear flap hat get decapitated on the motorcycle.
And I retracted it to say that...
No, wait.
That was the one with Corey
No,
Feldman.
no.
That was the one with Corey Feldman.
Hold on, back up. No, you got them mixed up. 5 is a new beginning. 4 is the final chapter.
Oh, that's right.
4 is one of the better ones.
Right, yes. So...
You confused me.
I'm sorry.
When you said new beginning.
That's...
4 is great. Because 4 is when they revealed Jason without the mask. And,
yes, and Corey Feldman is bald with a machete at the end.
Yeah, no, Corey Feldman's great in that.
Yeah, well, and you know why I think...
Oh, and wasn't Crispin Glover in that too? Is that the one where Crispin Glover bites it? I think he's in 4 as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, because the hot chick cock teases him, and he's like all depressed. He didn't get laid, and then he gets stopped. So it's like the one guy he doesn't get laid, and then if I remember correctly, I could be wrong. He doesn't get laid, but he gets killed anyway. So that's not the rules. Come on, I guess because he wanted to.
Right,
he had lust in his heart. Jason.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the biggest reasons why I said 4 was probably my favorite, and then I retracted and said 1 was my favorite, and then you corrected me to say, oh yeah, 4 was actually a good one. I think I grew up with 4 more than the first one because I saw it first, I think. Mm-hmm. Because when it had come out, I was like maybe 8 years old, 9 years old.
Right.
And I had seen it. That was like the first one I had seen.
Usually the first one you see sets the tone for what you like.
Right, and then I had gone back and watched the rest of them. And,
right.
So I think that's why I had said 4 just subconsciously just popped into my head, even though I liked the first one better.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think I went with that.
Yeah, so I liked 4 too. 5 was bad,
and
everyone hated 5 because there's no Jason in it. What the hell is this? And oh yes, spoiler alert, it's not Jason.
And they were going in a new direction because they had done it 4 times already.
Hence the new beginning.
Yeah,
and then they realized, that was stupid because there's It
was like Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Yeah, guess what? There's no Michael Myers in this movie.
Yeah. I like that too.
No, I did like Halloween 3.
Everybody's pissed off, so why'd you even use the title? So, well, because you'll come to see it, won't you?
Yeah, and you did, didn't you?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, silly bastard. But 5, crap.
Right.
And again, when you have like the mentally handicapped guy with the flap hat driving around in circles on the motorcycle and they beheads him, oh man. And that's kind of and the whole bait and switch is the crazy kid, the one killing people.
Oh right, yeah.
Ooh,
hey,
who could it be? A house full of loonies. Who could be the loony? Yeah, thanks for that decision. My first one I ever saw was 6.
Really? You started at 6?
I started at 6. And I love 6. 6 is my favorite.
Because they were pumping those out just about every year.
I have a chapter in Monster Rally called What Would Jason Do? And I talk about morality in horror films. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned that Friday the 13th Part 6 is the first film I saw as a kid that I recognized that morality played us in horror films. It was the first time when I realized, I got excited at the time. I was like, I never noticed that. But it was like, everybody that died at Jason's hand broke the law or broke some kind of morality law, whether it was trespassing on private property or sleeping with somebody or doing drugs. It's like, wow, Jason's the good guy in this. That's kind of interesting. And I've always loved the one line that was in the trailers with the 2 kids hiding under the bed. So, what were you going to be when you grew up? I always loved that line.
Yeah.
And any film where Horseshack gets impaled. No, he doesn't get impaled. He tears his heart out.
That's right. He does.
And this brings up a point with, after they killed Jason off in 4, technically he's been in 3 films at this point. He wasn't in 1 and he wasn't in 5. So they want to bring Jason back.
Yep.
So, and I like this, because in Jason 6, in Friday the 13th 6, electricity brings Jason back from the dead.
That's right. They open the coffin and
he stabs him.
It gets hit by lightning.
Yeah, because the psychiatrist's idea of the healing process for the young child who survived Jason's is to stab the corpse repeatedly with a piece of metal. And
it acts as a lightning rod and brings him back to life.
Right, which apparently does not help his state of mind at this point.
No, he doesn't come back and say, God, got to stop and smell the roses. You know that?
Well, my problems are over.
Or he's just pissed that he's alive again. It's like, God damn it, man.
It's like, a kid afraid of dogs, you make him stab a puppy to death. You're all better now, right? Yeah. No problem. But so you have that. Now let's go on to 7.
Okay.
Which I also like. It was the psychic girl.
That's right.
Right. In this one, the psychic girl's psychic powers bring Jason back. Right?
God, the psychic one. I completely forgot about that film.
I didn't.
I remember. Well,
I saw that in the theater.
Well, I remember it vividly now that you've brought it up.
Yeah.
It just came right back into my psyche. I remembered wanting to see that in the worst way because I just thought it looked so goddamn cool that she could do these things, and it was like a worthy opponent of Jason.
And I thought it was kind of cool. Again, when you're dealing with the same story over and over again, since Jason had become a supernatural element, so to speak, a kind of force of nature, it only made sense to throw something else supernatural up against him.
Yeah.
And pitting Carrie against Jason, technically, was kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember...
It was great to see... It was I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I've only seen it the one time.
Really?
I've only seen it the one time, and that was... I didn't see it in the theater like you. I saw it the following year when it came out on video. And, again, this is, 20 years ago? 25 years ago? I remembered liking it a lot.
Not 25 years
ago. Came out in 88.
73? It's 25? Man, I'm old. Never mind. Okay. I keep forgetting how old I am. It hasn't been 25 years? No, it's been 25 years.
It's not 25. It's like 20. It's like 22.
Closer to 20.
Yeah.
Closer to 20. Yeah.
It's 20 plus.
It's too long ago. But I like the idea of Jason finally having, like you said, a worthy opponent.
Right.
Where usually it's just him stalking, killing. This time he's taking nails to the head, and she's like throwing things at him.
Electricity from the lamp in the hallway.
Right. So she's kicking his ass at some points. And, it was great to see Jason have to struggle for it now.
Yeah.
Like there's always
man, I got to work for this.
So somebody's fighting back. What gives with this? It was
God.
It was a nice change of pace. I liked that. Now, so then in Friday
Part 8,
which is Jason Takes Manhattan. Oh, this is where the hate comes. I saw that in a theater.
Really?
Yeah. I think I realized I was going to hate Friday the 13th Part 8 during the scene in the beginning. It's like the first 10 minutes of the film where the kid gives his girlfriend the gift. It's like, yeah, here, I know you're a writer, so I got this for you. It's Stephen King's pen from high school, and it's like an old ink, like quill pen almost.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's like
Stephen King wouldn't have used that.
It's like he used a Bic. He's like, he was in school in the 70s or 60s. He's not that old.
Right.
He was. I'm not 70s, obviously, sooner than that, but still, he's not Edgar Allan Poe. It's like, wow, so you gave her a pen with a big metal stud at the end. What's it called? The bit? The nib? The nib. It's the nub.
I don't know.
We don't even use typewriters anymore. Jesus. But it's like wow, that huge pointy metal pen, that's going in somebody's eye soon, isn't it? Yeah. I was like, all right, they've set this up an hour in advance, and she could have stabbed him with a pencil, but it had to be this pen.
Stephen King owned pen.
Right. It's like
quill.
And and I'm waiting for her to say, well, yeah, but I would have preferred a ring. How about a pendant? It's just. Again,
what a nice card.
Again, a screenwriter trying to explain too much, trying to set up too much.
Yeah.
And then it's Jason Takes Manhattan. The big thing is it's in the city. It's in Manhattan, right?
Yeah.
And half of it's on a boat.
Yeah, and I don't even think it was filmed on location in Manhattan. I think it was filmed in Canada.
No, yeah, they couldn't afford to film in Manhattan. Would you agree? That's why half of it was like on the rooftops and in the sewers.
Right.
It's like, how do we film in Manhattan and not? Well, I guess we just have to film inside buildings and that. So they took their sweet ass time getting to Manhattan, and then they had just like maybe some long shots and horrible.
I think I've read somewhere that the only real shot in the film
Times Square.
No. There was a shot of Times Square?
I don't remember. That's what I was just guessing.
Oh, all right. I think I read the only real shot of Manhattan in the film was the trailer.
That's right, the teaser trailer.
I'm pretty positive that was the only real shot of Manhattan in the whole film.
Wasn't that in Times Square, the teaser trailer?
No, that was like at some dock. It looked like it was coming from Hoboken or Weehawken.
I mean, it's bad when you have the scene where Jason sees a billboard.
Maybe even Jersey City, I'm not even sure.
Jason sees a billboard with a hockey mask on it, and he cocks his head like a confused dog.
Yeah.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've been in Manhattan and I've seen billboards for hockey equipment.
You don't.
And then when he punches the guy's head off and it separates like it was cut with a machete, like he hits the guy and his head comes off, but it comes off with a clean cut.
Yeah.
It's like, how did that head come off? So it's a horrible, horrible film.
Terrible.
How was he resurrected in 8?
I'm not exactly sure.
A yacht drags a power line out of the ground.
God, that's
and hits
right.
his corpse in the bottom of the lake. So it's electricity again that brings him back. So we got electricity, psychic, or electricity. So you're right. So now we're on the Jason Goes to Hell.
Now we're on the Jason 9. Jason Goes to Hell,
and that's when I was working at the Nutley Theater, and I got you guys in for free to see it with me.
Yeah.
And we wanted our money back.
And you worked there.
Yeah.
That was awkward.
We didn't pay for this, but damn it, you owe me some money.
You got to take me to dinner.
And again, this was that's the opening scene of that is the girl being chased by the
by Jason.
Right, and I remember watching. It's like, this is great. They got the military after Jason. This is gonna be kick-ass. Who would have thought of this? Like, the military finally catches on to the whole idea that this guy's killing thousands of people,
right.
And they swoop in. It's gonna be Jason versus the U.S. Army. And no, that's just the first 2 minutes.
And yeah,
what the hell?
Well, you knew you were in for horribleness when you could see a movie goof in the first 2 minutes of the film, where she's in a bathrobe and barefoot running through the forest.
Towel.
Was it a towel?
I think it was a towel wrapped around her.
Okay,
I'm guessing.
So she was in the forest with a towel or a bathrobe wrapped around her, and she's just running through the forest barefoot. And the next shot you see, she's wearing high tops.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even where they decided to get high tops that would kind of mask in like the large brush or kind of make it camouflaged a bit. No, these are like totally stand out Nike high tops, and it's just so that because she obviously didn't want to run barefoot in the film, and because it wasn't widescreened to for 16:9 televisions, because this was in the late 80s, the shot is full frame, so you can see everything. So it's one of those things where you could just totally see the goofs so soon, and it kind of sets up the rest of the film.
Right.
As you're just be prepared for crap.
And then the genius behind this one was, well, Jason's such a iconic figure, and everyone loves it. It's just you know Jason when you see him. Mm-hmm. So let's get rid of Jason and turn the killer into his heart, which possesses other people.
Yeah.
Wow. So
what a novel idea.
Yeah. So Jason Goes to Hell was really Jason's dead and he's possessing other people, but he's not really in hell. Because, he's supposed to be in hell technically, but it's even when they explain it, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
When you're watching a film like that and you complain about it not making sense, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. And then the very next film on the list is Jason X.
Yes.
Jason in Space.
Right. and that's the one where they finally just say, yeah, we just can't kill him.
No. Yeah.
And they finally got around.
It's like 400 years in the future, and he's resurrected in space. It was like the year 24 something, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was hundreds of years in the future.
Right.
It's like, holy shit. Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he survived this.
Well, it was cryogenically frozen.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he thawed and just wreaked
and
havoc.
What? I didn't hate it. I
didn't hate it either. One of the best,
because unlike Jason Takes Manhattan, where he was in Manhattan, pretty much 10 minutes of the film, Jason's in space.
Yeah.
It's okay, now Jason's in space. And they even make him kind of futuristic, and they give him like the metal stuff. And
yeah, exactly. And
it was
my favorite scene in the film is just a scene that made me laugh. And that's when he goes into the hologram.
The holodeck.
The holodeck.
Yeah.
That's when he goes into the holodeck. And he sees two girls, like in a forest scene, in their sleeping bags.
Because the guy looks up his history and finds out what he used to do.
Right.
So they're trying to distract him. So
right.
he creates like the perfect victims for him in this.
Right. And he goes
area.
over to them and he's like, "We just love premarital sex."
And then like two girls kissing each other.
He's just flinging them around his head like you would like a lasso, and slams him into a tree.
He grabs him in the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
And he's whipping him around against trees and stuff. It's,
we just love premarital sex.
He finally starts to catch on. They're not fighting back enough. This isn't real. But I didn't hate number 10.
I didn't hate it either, and it kind of, I'm embarrassed to say that a little bit.
Yeah,
because it's your textbook bad movie too.
Now, here's the problem. Now we're just talking about all the ways they brought him back in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah,
how they resurrected the character. I have a foggy recollection. Because, again, 2 and 3 are kind of foggy in my mind. It can't be 2, because 1 wasn't Jason, it was the mother.
Right.
So it has to be 3. Unless I'm thinking of Halloween, but I don't think I'm thinking of Halloween. But I'm almost convinced that in 3, like at the end of 2, they supposedly kill Jason.
I don't remember.
I might be talking wrong, because I could have sworn at the end of 2 or 3, maybe it's Halloween I'm thinking about, because they take the corpse to the hospital, and then he just gets up and leaves. It was just like, I'm not dead. Yeah, no, it wasn't Halloween. I'm pretty sure it was Friday the 13th 3. I'll have to go back and rewatch them.
Okay.
But it's you watch all these things where they resurrect him, then you watch 3, and they just bring him in, and the guy's talking about, he killed like 17 people. It's horrible. And then in the back, you just see him get up. It's like, I'm not done yet. It's like, I've
got more sequels in me.
I am a force of nature.
You don't understand.
And Freddy vs. Jason?
I never saw it.
It's okay.
I never saw it. I know it was huge money, and it made something like 30 or 35 million its opening weekend. Here's the thing, though. It did extremely well, and because it did extremely well, I would have put a Las Vegas bet that they would have done more of those types of films.
Remember the big rumors that were going around? They were going to do
Ash versus Jason versus Freddy.
I have the screenplay in my head. I have it all plotted out, dude.
Yeah.
I could actually walk you through it right now if we had 2 more hours to go. I could explain. I have it written up here. The only problem is Bruce Campbell's past his prime. He's not playing Ash anymore.
If he lost 40 pounds,
I just don't think
50 pounds, he might be able to pull it.
I don't know if his heart would be in it at this point to do it.
Maybe. I mean,
don't know.
Hey, if Harrison Ford can have a 6-pack at 65, I think Bruce Campbell, if he lost 40 pounds, could do Ash again.
Yeah, he needs a decent screenplay to go with that 6-pack.
Yeah. Well.
All right, and I want to cover one more quick request we got online.
Okay.
Squeeze it in because
Because one came from Facebook. The Friday the 13th was a Facebook.
Right. This one's from Twitter.
This is a Twitter.
We're not going to have too much to talk about this, and it's not really film, but I wanted to squeeze it in.
Okay.
Jen off Twitter with 2 N's. She's currently suffering from the swine flu.
Oh, that's
she got diagnosed last week, and I had it back in January. Way back in January, I had it. Sickest I've ever been in my life.
Did you really have it?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
No. Well, I didn't know it then. But then when they found out about swine flu, and when they first found out about swine flu and started saying, I think we got it from Mexico. We didn't get it from Mexico. And they're running through the symptoms. And I'm not a hypochondriac. You know me. I really get sick. And they're reading the symptoms and everything. And I was like, that's what I had. That's what I was that sick. I had 103.
I remember you being horrifically sick for like a week.
I was bedridden for a week or two, and I didn't. It took me a month to heal afterwards. My ribs were sore from the coughing a month afterwards.
So that's what that was.
That's what it was. Looking back, and then a couple months ago, they came out with a new report that said, swine flu has actually been in the country longer than we thought because people weren't reporting it. They weren't going to the doctor.
They
or
just
anything.
figured they had the flu,
right? And they weren't going to the doctor with it. Like I didn't. Because I didn't have any medical insurance at the time. So, and they said, we think it's been in the country as early as January, which is when I had it. So Jen's currently at home bedridden with swine flu, and so she sent me a quick Twitter requesting that we talk about the new V series.
Since their arrival, there's been no contact with any of the 29 ships now hovering over the major cities of the world.
My name is Anna. Don't be frightened. We mean no harm.
The newly opened visitor healing centers are drawing huge crowds.
The V's heal me. It's amazing.
Standing by to go to air. Don't ask any questions that would portray us negatively.
Afraid I don't have a choice.
This interview is now canceled.
The visitors didn't just get here. They've been here for years.
They've been printing fake docs, passports, IDs, best fakes I've ever seen.
Once embedded among us, they set out to cause worldwide instability.
C4.
They've been implementing a plan that will result in the extermination of every man, woman, and child on the face of this earth.
We help build a resistance.
You have to fight.
Oh God. Okay.
Now I don't think I know I haven't seen it.
I know they're trying to go Battlestar Galactica with it.
Exactly. Now I know you haven't seen it.
I haven't.
And I know I haven't seen it.
I haven't even watched Battlestar Galactica.
And I know it's on my DVR at home.
Oh, you have the first episode recorded.
I definitely do. I'm not going to watch it, but it's there.
Okay.
But I do know that I caught some of the original series while they were playing it on TV this past week.
Okay.
And do you remember when the original came out?
I remember the original series vaguely when I was a kid. I think that came out, 84, 85?
I was very young, yeah.
I think it was 84, 85. And one of the only real things I remember from the original series was a scene where someone gets ripped at the face and underneath is like alien skin.
That's during the press conference, yeah.
Right, exactly. That's one of the most vivid things I remember from the show. I do remember other things from it, but I couldn't really sit here and tell you like major plot points and things like that. Because I was too young and I never really watched it.
I was just over the age where I remembered all the stuff. That's when my film memory begins, television and stuff. And I got to tell you, what I remember the most is the advertising campaign. Unheard of. It was a huge. You watch it now, it's like just cheese. There's nothing special about it. It's just cheesy television stuff.
It's just pure cheese.
And there's no real. It's not like Lost.
Right.
Episode 1 million. Like, how much did it cost? First episode
of Lost.
It was like
million or two.
It was the most expensive pilot ever made. Like when they do epic opening TV shows now, they really dump money into it. Back then, you watch this, you go, this really couldn't have cost any money. But it was huge advertising. It was the event. It was the TV event of the summer or whenever it came out. I don't forget.
I remember it being everywhere when I was a kid.
But the thing was, you didn't even know what it was. There was no teasers of like they were lizards or this or that or anything. Literally, all it was they would just show a spaceship over like the city and then a V. That was it.
Yeah.
V coming soon. V. You didn't even know what V stood for. So what's V? I don't know. We got to watch it though. And everybody in the world tuned in that goddamn show because a big spaceship and
marketing
V.
was excellent for it.
It
just kind of dragged you in.
Cable TV existed at the time, so it wasn't like people didn't have other things to do.
Mid-80s, cable was around maybe 10, 12 years.
Yeah, but it was that. And this was after. Was it before or after VCRs were commonplace?
Oh, well after.
Really?
We've been through this before. My first VCR was in 1980.
All right, 'cause I remember
yours was a little bit after.
Good.
Yours was a little bit after, but VCRs were well established at that point.
Right.
So,
but I mean, I just remember. 'Cause I don't remember videotaping it. That's why I don't remember recording it. So.
Oh yeah, well I was recording everything at that point.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm surprised. If I would have thought we would have recorded it if it was out. I would have to do research on that because I don't think I had a VCR in my house when it came out.
The only reason why we did was because my father, he had never owned anything like that before, and I remember it costing somewhere around. I think it cost like $1,400 too.
Yeah,
it was really expensive, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up as kids, so it was one of those things where my father kind of really scraped together the money for it, for his family kind of deal. And I remember owning one in 1980, and they did become commonplace by then. They really did.
Right.
So,
but that's my biggest memory of V is the big build up to it. And at the time, I remember it being like, wow, it's a great show. And you watch it now, it's like, there is nothing to this. This is like the A-Team, but with aliens. The production value on this is nothing special. I don't believe.
I think one of the biggest
Robert Englund in it, by the way.
I was just going to say, one of the biggest things for it was that it had Robert Englund in it, famous for being Freddy Krueger and whatnot.
I don't know how much of a draw that was to it at the time, though.
I don't know.
I think it was after the fact.
It might not have been only for the fact that he was outside of the mask and maybe people were taken away from it or didn't even know he was Freddy.
And my problem, Mark Singer, who plays the lead character in it, from Beastmaster. But at the time period, I had just become a huge fan of the film If You Could See What I Hear.
Oh yeah, where he was blind.
Yeah, and he's done such a great job in that film. The entire series of V, I can't help it. To me, his character's blind because he has the same kind of stare. It's just
I remember.
I couldn't help it.
I remember the one scene in that show where he goes to save the girl in the pool.
Oh, in the movie, If You See What I Hear.
Yeah, and she had drowned, and he goes in to save her, does CPR, brings her back, and
which is true.
It was a very touching scene.
Yeah,
it was just
it's the world's worst game of Marco Polo you've ever seen.
Yeah.
See the blind guy, Marco, just a body floating in the pool. That's horrible. And I think my favorite thing about the new V is, have you read the thing where the right wing, I'm getting a little political now, but this is fun. Right. The right wing came out, these right wing authors came out and said, V is really a warning about Obama.
No way.
The article's great. Think about it. Charismatic leader from another country hypnotizes Americans, romanticized by the media, tries to turn our country into a fascist dictatorship. Who does that remind you of? Really? That article came out, and the problem is something like that comes out, and the rest of the media, the rest of the news media is afraid of not being in on the loop, so they'll pretty much run anything that gets attention. So they all had to run the story of, is V about Obama? And then the answer, every one of them was, no. It's like the exact opposite. I love politics and these kind of things. It's like the exact opposite. Remember Star Wars came out, the new ones, and everybody and the critics came out and they said, "Yeah, that's about the Iraq War." And Lucas says, "No, it's not about that. No, obviously there's no connection. I wrote this years before. It has nothing to do with it." And then you watch the film in the theater and said, No, it's about the Iraq War. Everything about the whole Senate thing, and there's no way you didn't write this about the Iraq War. Well, you're a lying bastard.
I don't believe that he wrote them years ago. I think
No,
he
he
had the
didn't.
premise years ago, and he wrote them now.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, oh, obviously it wasn't this because God forbid someone doesn't pay to see his films, the whore. So he's like, I didn't do that at all. That's not in there at all. It is. And then you got this one where the right wing is like, oh, they're trying to, Obama's bad, and this is an example of it. And then everybody is, no, there's no connection at all. You're just crazy. But it does raise the point that maybe Obama is not
human.
That's it. Maybe the conspiracy that with the birth certificate isn't hiding the fact that he's actually a Kenyan or a Muslim, but that he's really a lizard person from another planet. And through the eventual degradation of the USDA laws, cannibalism will become legal, and we'll have the whole Soylent Green thing going here, and his lizard people will come and feed on us. It makes a little more sense than the birth certificate thing.
Yeah, we know how that went.
Glenn Beck may jump on this.
He may. Hey.
Yeah, so who knows? Maybe they'll actually do maybe a big reveal. Maybe Obama will make a guest appearance in V.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be great? They brought in. How cool would that be if Obama actually appeared in V and actually like tore off and revealed himself as a lizard, in the film just for giggles, just
he just might be cool enough to do it.
Yes, just maybe, man. Well, but I think we're going to wrap it up on that.
Yeah, I think we've exhausted ourselves.
Now, we have to do movie challenges real quick.
Oh, okay. So now we're gonna. This is part of the program where we do movie challenges to each other.
Well, this is we're just gonna do the challenges now, and then we'll actually do the whole part of the program next episode. We're gonna formally challenge each other now. We pick a film that we want to make the other person watch because it's horrible, and then talk about it next episode.
That's right. So, what's your challenge to me?
Well, next episode we're doing a Thanksgiving special.
We are doing a Thanksgiving special. I've rounded a list that circles 30 years from 1979 to present day. Well, actually, no. I've made a list.
I was just joking. I didn't mean to actually sidetrack it.
I've made a list that is 30 years long from 1979 to 2009.
Okay.
And it's every movie that has been released in the month of November, not just Thanksgiving weekend, because a lot of times that's in the middle of the week. They don't do that. So we have a huge list, which you will be able to get on the website so that you can kind of play along too if you want.
And we'll cherry pick from that list and talk about all these Thanksgiving films.
We'll pull together a nice list of films.
It's kind of like it's the opposite of giving thanks.
Yeah.
For films, it's kind of like the what did I do to deserve this?
Exactly.
Yeah. So for that, we're making sure that our challenges for next episode are from the month of November, so they fit into the theme. So you want to go first, sir?
Yeah, sure. I have a list of 5 films, but I'm pretty sure you haven't seen this one. It's the Hulk Hogan horrific Thanksgiving Christmas film Santa with Muscles from 1996.
Okay, I've never heard of this. You're making this up, or
no?
Was it in the theaters?
Oh yeah.
I've never heard of this.
November of 1996, it was released.
Is this before or after No Holds Barred?
This is after.
They made a Hulk Hogan film.
I believe this is also after Suburban Commando as well.
They made a film after Suburban Commandos with Hulk Hogan in it.
Yes, and the cover is hilarious. It's 2 kids in the film that are with him, and he's holding them up and showing his muscles. It's terrible.
Okay.
So that's my challenge to you, my friend.
I hate you.
Hey.
Oh, all right.
If I had to suffer through it, you have to suffer through it.
All right, well, the one I'm giving you, I haven't seen either. And I feel I'm embarrassed that I haven't. So I'm giving you one that I'm going to suffer through as well. I was going down the list, and I saw that November, my God, Heaven's Gate.
I've avoided that for years.
Like one of the most famous bad films ever.
It's one of the most famous bombs in movie history, where it costs
expensive debacle bombs.
Yeah, it costs a ton of money,
like Ishtar or Bonfire of the Vanities.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, and I actually have one of the final cut, one of the books about Heaven's Gate. I've got a couple other books that talk about it in detail. I'm actually doing my research on it while I'm watching it. I've been putting it off for so long, but it's really a film I should have gotten into a while ago.
Right.
So it's really a challenge to myself as well. But I figure I might as well make you suffer with me.
Okay, that sounds fine to me.
Because if we weren't doing this, I was going to make you watch Looker.
which I do have a copy of, so I will watch it anyway.
Yeah, but
So
at some point we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I've been dying. Oh, I've rewatched that. I hadn't seen that since I was like young,
Yeah.
real young, and just watching it again, blew me away. I actually want to try to get a hold of Michael Crichton and just make him apologize.
He's dead,
When did Michael Crichton die? Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
When did Michael Crichton die?
It's not even a year.
So it's recently.
Yes, it is.
That makes sense. No one told me that. What did he die of?
I believe it was heart disease, heart attack, something along those
Michael
lines.
Crichton's dead.
He is totally stiff.
Damn. Too late now. I should have timed that differently. Wow. Again, Pulse, me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on in the world. Politically, I read every day, but everything else I just kind of ignore. I really, it's all I know is movies and politics, and then the rest of the world could just go hang for all I know.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's you keep me grounded, sir. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Okay.
Near, far. I can't even do that. I'm gonna try that.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Let's wrap this up. Thanks a lot. This is episode number 6. Having a ball.
6.
So once again, Moviesucktastic.com, and you can reach all of our other stuff from there.
Yeah, Moviesucktastic.com, boothreviews.blogspot.com, Facebook, Twitter, guestbook. It's all on there. Forums coming soon. Merchandise sections coming soon.
We got videos,
you name it.
movie
it's
reviews.
on there.
We're trying to do more pen and paper movie reviews coming out.
So just please visit the site, and we'll keep doing this if you keep visiting. But we're gonna get the hell out of here and go get some dinner.
Yeah, so we're trying to, but we're trying to keep it low. But that was great.
Yeah.
Great. So, and you can email us at themovieguys
at moviesucktastic.com.
Right, and so let us know if there's something you wanted to hear us talk about. If you got any criticisms or complaints, if we made a mistake and you have to correct Joey because it was wrong, feel free to chime in on that.
Scott will be wrong one time, guaranteed. Well, here's the problem: when he is wrong, I correct him on the spot.
Right. I usually correct myself, though. I'm good with that.
Not really.
Yeah. All right, fine. But yeah, contact us, let us know. Follow us on Twitter, get us on Facebook. The contest is still running. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know we're doing a good job. And also, iTunes, podcast.com, Podcast Alley, and you can listen to it live from the website. So you got 4 different ways to get our show, 5 or 6 different ways to listen to it. So you got no excuse. You got to listen.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time.
That's right. And just remember, never let a stranger touch you in your bikini area. Bye. That's it. Moviesucktastic. See you later.